And we are live.
Cool.
How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm all right.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good over here.
Things have been relatively calm considering today's events. I was happy to see that.
Yeah. And it turns out I don't have a brain tumor, so that's cool too. I've been having like a weird vision issue, so I had it checked out today, and they said will go away on its own, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Double vision or what's going on?
No, it's like I have like they called it a blister on the back of my eyeball. So like there's a dark spot and everything is distorted through it, and then I see a flashing light. So it's not super great, but
Are you like taking eye drops for it or something like that, or?
no, they just said it'll go away in 8 weeks. So I got a couple more months of this bullshit. But
8 weeks, wow.
yeah. How's everyone else doing? No one else has brain tumors, right?
No.
Not
I'm
me.
aware of.
It's a good day then.
Yeah.
How's it going, Calvin?
It's going all right. The weather's pretty bad over here, so just trying to stay inside.
Is it raining?
Yeah, it's wet, cold, like a constant rain.
You're in Texas, right, Calvin?
Yeah,
Are
in
you
San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fucking kind of gorgeous here today.
We've been having like little dustings of snow on and off for the past few days, which has been nice.
Yeah, it was nice yesterday. It was like in the high 40s, which was a welcome change, but for the most part, it's been decent weather.
It was fucking 80 degrees here the other day. It was disgusting. It's crazy. Well, look at that. We got some stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick. We've got Patrick. We've got Dean. How's it going, Dean? We've got some Ben Grimm in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Grimm, my arch nemesis.
Is he your arch nemesis?
Yeah, we got into a fight over Penny Dreadful on Queenie Todd's Mandy stream a while back.
Which, the TV series?
He hates the Frankenstein's monster character in that, and that's my favorite character from Penny Dreadful, so we've been arch rivals ever since.
I thought it was a good take on the character. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't your typical,
Yeah.
De Niro or Lugosi, whatever character.
Yeah. It felt like the character from the book, but in a different situation to me.
Yeah.
That
was a good series. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed like the first season of it, but not quite enough to come back for the second season or subsequent seasons, whatever season we're on now.
Yep. I watched all 3 seasons of it, and then the last episode was a total letdown because they had to cancel, and so the story just kind of cuts off, and they had all these cool plot threads going that just kind of go nowhere.
I heard there's a new season that has Natalie Dormer in it, though.
Yeah. The new season is kind of a different story that has nothing to do with Penny Dreadful.
Okay.
But it's all right. I've watched the first episode of it because it was free on YouTube.
Hey, Derek.
Hey.
Hey, Derek, how you doing?
Hello, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
I'm good.
I'm good, yeah.
So I wanted to get some familiar faces and some new faces. Ben and I, of course, are on the Coast to Coast on Saturdays. I've never chatted with Martin face to face, and this is Calvin's first live stream ever.
First time.
And Shin's been around for a while. He doesn't have content on his channel, but he's been a very active and supportive member of the horror community. He just recently started appearing on some of Hobbs' live streams, so I just thought it would be good to get everybody together and just shoot the shit.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
No problem. We have a special guest coming here later. He should be joining us soon, hopefully.
Paul said that I sound like Phil. I don't know how I sound like Phil, but okay.
Which Phil?
Phil from I'm presuming Phil from Phil's Creepy Vids, but I don't know.
Could be another Phil that you sound like you have the vocal doppelganger of, you know.
Maybe they're just, I have a secret doppelganger out there who just happens to be named Phil.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Like he just met some dude and was like, "Damn, you sound like Martin. What's your name?" He's like, "Phil."
Everything makes sense now.
Yeah. Phil Collins. You are a dead ringer vocally for Phil Collins.
Oh, wow.
For Phil Collins.
I'm just reading the chat.
Oh.
That's what the other Phil.
According to Phil of Phil's Creepy Vids, Phil Collins. All right. I'll take it.
I can't hear it, but I can feel it coming in the. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, so Patrick says, "Can you say soup super chat for us?"
I think that's copyrighted by Phil, or if it isn't, patent pending. I don't know.
So did everybody see that picture from the new Halloween today?
I didn't.
No.
I haven't. No, I've been trying to avoid anything Halloween kills. I don't want it to be spoiled for me at all.
This basically just shows.
Go ahead.
This basically just shows Michael coming out of the house, the Strode residence burning around him, and that he did make it out.
Spoiler alert: he made it out.
Right.
Hey, Felicia, I'm happy that you made it. She's got like a huge channel compared
What's
to
up,
me.
Art?
Hey, Art.
Hey, Felicia. I haven't seen her videos lately, but I watched a lot of her videos a while back.
Yep, she's been doing all Buffy the Vampire Slayer videos this month, which has been
Nice.
fun.
I've been a subscriber for her since she had like 150 subscribers or something.
Wow,
It's a long time ago.
I'm not familiar with her, the girl. Check her out.
she's awesome. I've been hanging out with her on the. She does horror movie club every Tuesday night. She's been doing winter horror for this month, so. I watched Adams Green's Frozen, which was a first-time watch for me. That movie is brutal. I was watching it from behind my hands most of the time.
Frozen is the one where they're on the ski lift, right?
Yeah, they're stuck on the ski lift. That movie is intense.
And that caused your hands to like do this stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Especially the frostbite on the girl's face. I was like audibly cringing during that scene. I was like, ah.
Well, you live where it's cold. For me, that's just like it might as well be like someone like, you know, fighting an alien or something. It's just like
The concept is so foreign.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm always learning about great new channels. Every time I either sit in on one of these or watch one of these, I learn somebody that I've never heard of before that has great content.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check out her channel for sure. She does good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm the star. I'm flattered.
So did anybody pick up any cool movies this week, or see any cool new trailers, or?
I didn't pick up any movies, but I watched Hunter x Hunter last night.
Ooh, I've heard that.
How was that?
It was good. I kind of always wanted to call it like Hunter x Hunter, but now I want to call it Hunter x Hunter. But after I seen it, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, the Hunter of the Hunter.
Yeah.
Is that a horror movie, or is it a thriller movie, or I mean?
You know, I would bill it more as like a thriller. But, you know, I mean, people consider Silence of the Lambs a horror movie. So in that sense, I would say, yeah, it's a horror movie.
Yeah, it's a very fine line, I guess, between thriller and horror.
It really does depend on the movie. Some. I mean, look at the giallo genre. It's like right on the cusp of murder mystery and flat out horror, and it really depends on the movie.
I guess that's true. The this one I would say was just kind of like a feel good movie of the year. Not really. It was fucking brutal, man. It's brutal, but it was pretty good.
Is that a Shudder exclusive?
I don't think it's on Shudder.
No,
I rented it.
There's one called Hunted on Shudder.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
That one, it was pretty good.
I've been hearing interesting things about that. Yeah.
Hunted. Is that the one with
had
the
The
girl? Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. The Hunt. Yeah.
We've had The Hunt, The Hunted, Hunter.
Right.
Helen Hunt was in a movie recently.
There's the Hunting of Hill. I'm sorry, that's the Haunting.
Found it.
We have this.
Oh yeah,
Hunter. Yeah.
old school. Man. Old school. How the hell do you have that like directly at your right?
I redid all my shit here.
Yeah, this has all been scripted. That was planned.
Dave and I were like, let's bring up Hunter.
Exactly. We scripted some awkward silences too for the chat to let you guys know. Those will be coming up.
Oh, Patrick said Hunter is IFC.
It is.
The IFC expert.
I saw that little thing come up, and I swear to God, Patrick, I thought of you. I'm not shitting you. I was like, oh, Patrick, when I saw the little logo come up. It was good, though. Yeah. Definitely good. And brutal ending, man. Whew. Brutal ending, but I'd recommend it.
So it wasn't a happy ending then?
I guess it depends on how fucking twisted you are, but you know, I'm sure it's gonna make someone happy.
Devin Sawa was having a career resurgence here lately.
Who was?
Devin Sawa.
Now I don't know that. I'm not familiar with any of his previous career.
He was in the first Final Destination.
Oh shit, that was him.
Yeah, he was in Idle Hands.
Yeah.
And he was in The Fanatic with John Travolta.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was classic, man. Whew. I'm surprised you didn't get the Oscar for that role.
And he's starring in the next film by Glenn Danzig.
Oh boy.
Fun. I paid money for Veronica, and I still can't believe I did that.
I've not heard great things about Veronica.
It's garbage. It's bad.
It's
I've heard
entertaining garbage. The first segment is really fun. The rest of the movie is stupid. They make the Countess Bathory story boring, and I don't know how you do that.
Have you ever seen Faust by Brian Yuzna?
I haven't. No.
That's an old movie.
Yeah. The Veronica reminds you of Faust, only shot like handheld camera with less scripting smarts.
Yeah, eyeball boobs. That's what I've been hearing about. That's what I've heard about it. Eyeball boobs.
Yep. The first segment has eyeball boobs and a perverted, weird, imaginary human spider thing. The plot's weird and
yeah, there is a certain amount of body horror. That's what made me think of Brian Yuzna films like Society and Faust.
Yeah, I heard there was like a cameo by Glenn Danzig's crotch or something. I heard there was like a weird like zoom in shots of his crotch or something. I don't remember. It was
I must have blanked that out. I don't.
Yeah.
Paul knows what's up. The Veronica comic. Yeah, Glenn Danzig. I guess he still does have it. Veronica comic book company. He used to do books. If anybody's familiar with Frank Frazetta, the fantasy horror painter,
he's awesome.
He is, yeah. He used to do comic books based on his paintings, and I think he still has the company.
So Veronica is an anthology film, looks like.
Yeah.
Cool. I've not heard of it.
I like Danzig musically.
Mm-hmm.
That's my statement.
He has more good songs than Mother. Come on.
Yeah, that's the only one I know.
That whole album that Mother's from that's
awesome.
Pretty good. Yeah,
that's a good album, man. That's actually the last album that I bought of his. So I'm not super familiar with all of his other catalog. I heard his recent one though. I thought it was pretty good actually. Came out in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and that album's like 30 years old now. I remember seeing that on Headbangers Ball back in the day. But yeah, I couldn't tell you a thing about what he's done since then, music-wise.
I've heard a little bit of it, but to be honest, it sounded like Danzig, and that's the only thing I can remember about it. I couldn't sing you back any of those songs.
I saw a pretty amazing Danzig meme that was like Danzig and Sigourney Weaver's pictures sort of like tiled together, and it was like, which can you pick which one is which or something? It was pretty
Wow.
because he looks a lot like Sigourney Weaver nowadays.
Oh man.
Oh, I did see a picture of him in the grocery store parking lot pushing a shopping cart to his car in like sweatpants. I
Nice.
saw that like in the past year. There's actually an independent comic book. He doesn't have anything to do with it, but it's called who's the lead singer of Henry Rollins? It's called Glenn and Henry, and it's an imaginary tale of Glenn and Henry being a homosexual couple living together. And,
That sounds adorable.
Yeah.
Phil says he's still waiting for that mystery guest.
He is the mystery guest. I did catch some of his live stream today after the fact, and I want to ask him where he had an action figure that looked amazing from Pieces, and he said it was by a guy who does customs, but I didn't know if he did these customs on a mass scale that you could still buy them, or whether it was a one of a kind. So I want to find that out.
Yeah, and like the mirror says, there's also, Samhain and his old Misfit stuff. That's all great too.
Yeah, no one pronounced it Samhain until the last 7 years or so.
I thought it was Sam Hain, but okay.
And I think Danzig even pronounces it Sam Hain, but I watched enough documentaries on the history of Halloween to just say
It's
that
like-
automatically.
It's just one of these things that came along. It's like a movement to pronounce things right properly, which is fine. But then it leads to like weird, awkward stuff. Like if you say like someone says, "Oh, you're in karate," and you say it's karate, then you're like a complete jackass, right? But that's how like the Japanese say it. So it's like, what you gonna do?
It's like potato.
Exactly. Or if you're talking about midsummer and you say midsummer, then you're a dickhead too. I'm a dickhead.
Really? I thought that was how you pronounce it, Midsommar.
Well, most people say midsummer, so I just sort of
say midsummer.
I say midsummer / midsummer because I heard Ari Aster call it midsummer, so I just assumed that that's how I should be calling it too.
Yeah.
But
So you say both with the slash in the middle.
Campaign, so who knows?
exactly. When someone says midsummer, I just say karate. And then-
Karate. Tarjay, right?
exactly.
Proje, yeah, we go to Proje.
When I was a kid, when I was in probably late elementary school, I remember walking home from school in the alleys and seeing Sam Hain written on the wall in the alley. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And my friends would just be like, that's satanic. And I'd get all like freaked out and shit.
Well, I had both Sam Hain. I still have both Sam Hain albums on vinyl. November Coming Fire and Inidium. But they're at my parents' house. Oh shit, Rick's up in this bitch.
Yeah.
A 70. Rick.
Yeah, we're basically having a 78 Halloween party.
Yeah.
So what's new and exciting on everybody's plate this week? Now that we've gotten past today's hurdle and moving forward.
Well, my sister for Christmas got me a light and a mic for my YouTube channel. So I set those up today and they look really nice. So I'm going to be upping my production value in the coming weeks.
Sweet. What kind of mic?
It's just like a little mic, just a tiny
lap mic.
like, flip on. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Is that a pop, Calvin?
Yeah, it's the 10-inch Demogorgon from
Nice.
Stranger Things.
I think I had that.
It's like
I
from
have
Target.
Yeah.
Isn't I think I have that Phil's line?
No, it's because I had that.
I have that, right.
I had that, yeah.
I got a shitload of work coming up. I've been a little hobbled because of vision issues, so I haven't been going to work, and now I have a deadline that I'm trying to meet. So that's not ideal, but
Because of bitchin' issues?
vision.
Oh,
That's having like ocular ocular issues, but it's not a brain tumor, so we're good. I did get a pretty amazing figure today. I haven't opened it yet, but I pulled it out of the box. But I'll have a video coming on that. It's big. It's a big one.
Is it from the Godzilla realm, or?
It is from the Godzilla realm. That is correct. Yeah, it's the X Plus gigantic Godzilla 2019 burning.
Oh, I remember you showing the boxes last week. Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm looking forward to pulling that out. What in the holy hell is that?
That's a Gorgon.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Little size of GI. I collect figures this size, like fantasy and
Yeah.
not strictly GI Joe, but a little army men that size.
But yeah, I do have a video coming on that at some point.
I'm still waiting for some stuff from Amazon Germany. I got the Gretel and Hansel 4K media book, and
I love Gretel and Hansel.
the Woman trilogy in 4K.
Okay, yeah.
So wait for that to come in.
The Gretel and Hansel was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It got a lot of
Hate.
mixed reviews though.
Yeah,
It got a lot of-
it got a lot of hate, and I don't get it because it was a beautiful, beautiful movie.
I think it got hate because it's was rated PG-13 or something. People don't like horror that's PG-13, you know.
It made up for whatever R-ratedness it was lacking with a bunch of awesome atmosphere, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it was a great movie, but it did have great atmosphere and it was beautiful to watch. So,
I mean, I personally really liked the storytelling as well. I thought the storytelling was great, but it really did hinge on that awesome atmosphere.
Now, which one is that? Who was in that?
It came out last year. It was directed by I think Osgood Perkins, who did like The Black Coat's Daughter as well, and was it Sophia Lillis who was in It?
Yeah. It was her.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen that.
I couldn't remember if it was her or the girl from Stranger Things, but she was in Enola Holmes, I think, right?
She was in Enola Holmes, and she was in Godzilla King of the Monsters as well.
Yeah.
Dude, that girl, what's her name from Stranger Things?
It's on the tip of my tongue. I know her name.
Millie Bobby Brown?
Millie
That's
Bobby
the one.
Brown. Thank you.
I should have remembered that. Bobby Brown. I mean,
I know. I think of that every time I hear
That
that
should
name.
be everyone's prerogative to remember that.
I saw like I can't remember what it was. Someone said something about Stranger Things, and I did like a search for it, and her picture came up, like a recent picture. Last time I saw her, she looked like a little girl, and now she looks like she's in her fucking 20s. It's insane. It is crazy.
That's the thing when, like, if you watch Game of Thrones, it's amazing how those kids grew up over the course of the series. It blows your mind.
I mean, I guess I don't follow her like on any social media or anything. So and I don't remember. I don't know when they filmed the Godzilla 2019. That was the last thing I saw her in. But obviously, that was a few years ago that they actually shot the footage for it. So I was just surprised to see her. I was like, damn, she used to be like a little kid, and now she's like, looks like she's in her fucking mid-20s.
I mean, that's the same with Finn Wolfhard. I mean, seeing him in the first season of Stranger Things and then seeing him in The Turning. I mean, it was just like...
Yeah. I heard The Turning was not great.
It wasn't great, but I still... It was a decent movie. I still enjoyed it. I hated the ending, but that's everyone's complaint from what I've
I heard everybody
seen.
saying it was an okay turn of the screw adaptation, and then the ending.
It's very similar to the story that's told in The Haunting of Bly Manor, but
Although,
Bly Manor did it much better.
Yeah, I think they're based on the same book.
They are.
Yeah.
Now, did the turning just end abruptly?
Pretty much.
Okay. That's what I think. I'm trying to remember if that's the one I was thinking of. I haven't seen it, but I remember watching a review. People did not like that about it.
Yeah.
It's like the one movie that I think I hear people trashing the most that came out 2020.
What is...
Say that again?
I was going to say, what's in your top 20 list for worst endings of a movie ever? I say top 20 because who can pick a worst, you know?
First one that comes to mind is actually from a movie I love, which is Deadly Friend. There's a tacked on little twist ending to that, which just kind of ruins the movie for me, even though the rest of it's perfect.
Weren't you just talking about how you'd never seen that? Did you just watch that recently, Deadly Friend?
Deadly Friend, I was talking... No, I watched that quite a few years ago, actually. One of my first videos was on my favorite kill in Deadly Friend, which is obviously the basketball deal.
Clara Peller.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ready for our special guest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Drum roll.
Oh, I see.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, Phil.
How's it going, Phil?
Hey, Phil.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, but Martin can just fill in for you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll overdub him badly.
Exactly.
We can Godzilla it.
No volume.
No,
I can
we
kind of
now.
hear you.
It's just very low.
It's just quiet.
I'll try it again.
There you are.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's better. Oh.
Wrong button.
That's why he's special.
That's we guessed. He's so mysterious he can't be seen anywhere.
Exactly.
Now, Collector Man says there are a few good PG-13 horror films, and I know I've seen some, but
The Ring is PG-13.
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Happy Death Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Final Girls also. That was a really fun movie.
That was a fun movie.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Phil.
Say it again.
Why are you fucking with this, Phil?
Phil's pulling that Chevy Chase shit.
You hear me?
Okay, yeah. I'm like on the edge of my seat. Will I be able to hear Phil? He's just sitting there like not talking. Suspense. Surprise twist ending. We can hear him.
So, Phil, did you hear the question from Derek earlier about your pieces figure?
Pulled two more that I have from him. It's called Last Chance Customs.
Okay.
Look that up on Facebook. And his name is Brian Minnick. Minnick. Brian Minnick. And just hit him up, and he does custom work. There's the Pieces figure. Pieces is falling over.
Does he do a limited run of them, or does he just do them specifically?
He just
for
does
order?
what you want, what you ask for. There's the back. And he keeps falling over here, but you get the idea. Comes with a chainsaw.
I love that. That's like G.I. Joe size, isn't it? Like old school Star Wars.
The two I pulled that he did for me was a Terror Train.
Oh, wow.
So it's the lizard costumed guy.
Nice.
Wow. I like that.
And then the back art is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then last but not least, a little Gage from Pet Cemetery. And Church the Cat.
That's so cool.
Cool back art on that one as well.
I love that art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
The whole thing is awesome.
Last Chance Customs on Facebook, Brian Minnick.
I'm going to have to look him up.
Now, Pieces is an example of a movie that has an amazing ending. one of the greatest endings of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, have you seen it, Martin?
I haven't. But I watched the new season of Eli Roth's History of Horror, and he runs down why he loves Pieces so much in that, and he kind of spoils it. So I know how the movie ends, and it is crazy.
It's such a weird non sequitur like moment, like just like completely out of the blue and ridiculous.
Because the movie's not supernatural, but for that premise to happen, it's got to be supernatural.
It's just such a weird fucking way to end that movie, and it makes me smile how ridiculous it is. So,
well, it's a feminist.
His bubble's actually open, so if anything like gets misplaced, you can just pop them open easily and.
Cool.
That's cool. A lot of new action figure packages come like that. Like you can just steal it back up and display. But yeah, like in that, I forget the character's name in Pieces, but he's every time you see him, he's like with a different girl. He's like having sex with different women all the time. So I always took that as like a feminist thing. Like this thing's ripping his dick off now, and
that's kind of how Eli Roth frames it. It's just like everything coming back to get him.
yeah. But a movie which ending I hated was, and the whole movie wasn't great, but the New Pet Cemetery, I hated the way they ended the New Pet Cemetery particularly.
The New Pet Cemetery was just a long bunch of meh for me. It was decently made. It just didn't affect me in any way at all.
Now, did you hate the concept of it, or did you hate the execution of the ending?
I suppose it was executed okay, but I thought it was a little goofy. It wasn't.
Sorry, go on.
No, I just thought it was. It took the creepiness and the horror element away from it. It was different in tone, I think, from the rest of the movie. But
I thought it was darker than the original ending.
I like the way they twisted the roles of the daughter and son.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, but they spoil it in the trailer, which kind of ruins it.
right.
Here's the thing, though. It's not exactly a spoiler. It's just they're telling a different story. You know what I mean? But a lot of people got really bent out of shape about that. But I mean, like,
That didn't bother me. I didn't care about the role reversal thing. The movie was competently made, and John Lithgow's always awesome. But I just thought the whole thing where it's like, oh, it's one big happy family of zombies. I just thought that was
yeah. And for me, it was really well made, but something about how just clean and flawless it was didn't impact me as much as the original. There's something a bit rawer about it that's creepy to me.
right.
I mean, I do love the original. I'd say I probably like the original more, but I think the remake got a lot of hate, and I didn't hate it. You know, I thought the art direction was awesome, man.
Art direction was really good. It just emotionally didn't do much for me, I guess.
I did like the procession. There were some elements, the creepy history of the woods and the procession. You know, the stories about what used to go on. I thought that was cool, but. Sometimes an ending just leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth to ruin the whole thing. And watching that movie, I was just like, get the fuck out of here with this family.
I could see that.
Yeah, I was okay with the remake.
Yeah, I was too. They could have done more with Zelda, I thought. I mean,
the Zelda character in the original is way better.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the execution that she's way better, or if it was because I was younger when I saw it and it had such a much bigger impact on me. You know, I can't quite differentiate, but the Zelda in the first one was much better.
Zelda's still pretty fucked up, even as an adult watching it. I think it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, Zelda in the new one, just I can barely remember her parts in the movie, which might be because she was barely in the movie.
Yeah,
but.
I'll buy that. Speaking of remakes and endings, I don't know why this just popped in my head because we're speaking of remakes and endings, but the Last House on the Left ending, have you guys all seen that?
I haven't. I have not seen any version of Last House on the Left.
Is that a blender?
There was a microwave, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about the microwave ending, though. Yeah.
Okay, well, since you've heard about it, I won't be spoiling it. But I always wondered in that because the father in the end basically has the dude paralyzed, sitting there, head in the microwave, and he's sort of like reassuring him, like oh no, you're gonna be fine, like doing like his best doctor bedside manner in a weird way, and it really felt kind of at odds with like what he was doing, and I never quite understood why they did it that way. You know what I mean?
That sounds creepy, though.
It was creepy. I mean, that was a solid ending, but
yeah, Collector Man says bad remakes don't bother me anymore. They've never really bothered me. The original movie stands on its own.
Yeah.
Like some people really get bent out of shape. Like they just announced that a movie's being remade, and you go online, and it's like they fuck this and fuck that, and it's just like just chill out.
You guys probably no one ever saw this, but I did like a little video in the Child's Play when the Child's Play remake was happening, because everyone was so up at odds, like, oh my god, it's so fucking stupid. He's like artificial intelligence. He's not even like a voodoo motherfucker. And like, so I made a little video about it, like a little 30-second video that had I can't remember her name from Sleepaway Camp when she's taking the shower, and the killer. I'm trying not to spoil these movies. The killer comes in and stabs her through the wall. You know what I mean? But anyway, that scene, I did like a super cut that was just like her, like going, like doing her shit, and then like a super cut of her screaming at the end, where you cut away. They show her like getting stabbed, and they show her reaction, and then they show the knife, and then her reaction, and I just cut all of her reaction together, and it was like, ah, ridiculous.
You're a meme factory.
Good times, great oldies.
My favorite edit that you've ever done is still the edit of Quilted decapitating you did for Dave Maggot review. That was a fun one, yeah. I cannot get enough of that video. I just hit the replay over and over and over.
I like the exploding head from Scanners that you did.
that was also a good one, yeah. That one from Colobos. Have you guys seen the movie Colobos?
Yeah, I haven't. I've just watched that review.
No,
I had never seen that movie until it was released by Arrow Video. It is such like a strong. It tries to borrow so much from Suspiria. Like even the theme sounds like a sort of like second-rate Suspiria theme.
Oh man.
But it's a really bizarre movie. So I was always like kind of curious if my little thing, because I did that for Dave Maggot. It was a collaboration, and I was always curious if it was a little too bizarre. Because there's a scene where they're like in the kitchen, she opens a drawer and this fucking like circular saw blade shoots out. You know, so it's like it doesn't make too much sense. So I grabbed like a circular saw blade and decapitated myself.
It worked.
And I use that again for the just the two of us. That was the ending of that. Me and Quilted montage together, and then the very ending was her murdering me for French fries.
Wonderful.
I just wanted to say, yo, Creepy Calvin. I don't think we've ever met. So hi, Creepy Calvin. I'm Phil. And Old School Shin. You're awesome, Martin. What's up, Ben and David? You all know me well.
I'm sorry, Calvin. We haven't met either.
Yeah, it's okay.
To your videos, but
Calvin's one of those hidden gems in the horror community. There's a lot more subscribers, but he's always been very supportive of me and lots of other channels.
I try to.
If you don't know Calvin, check him out.
I just subscribed to your channel tonight, actually, Creepy Calvin. So
thank you.
New subscribers.
I only just subscribed not too long ago. I need to check out your stuff.
Shit, Creepy Calvin, are you related to Creepy Cody?
I just saw that.
It's not like you guys are brothers.
Right.
Yeah, Creepy Cody is awesome too. He's hung out with me before. He's cool.
Yeah, Creepy Calvin, you definitely need more subscribers. I actually met Calvin on Instagram, I think.
Yeah, I started Instagram. What's funny?
I followed your Instagram too.
Oh yeah, my daughter she uses my phone. I have a TikTok and I never even use it. And she made this little video of me like watching a live stream, and I had gotten like 10 more subscribers just from that. She posted a video of me on TikTok.
You should tell her make more TikTok videos of me.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have not met Creepy Cody, by the way.
I haven't either.
He's cool. He's got a decent little channel. He's really big into Reanimator and Return of the Living Dead, and he just wrote a fan story about Trash and Herbert West hanging out. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds fun.
Nice.
Has everyone seen the new Castle Freak, by the way?
Yes.
There's an interesting mid-credit scene in that, and I bring it up because what you said sparked my memory of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I'm trying not to spoil anything. So
yeah, way to spoil that.
In other words, it reanimated your memory.
It reanimated my memory, yeah. And I looked westward and went,
Oh, you looked westward.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't think that movie was all that great, but the ending was fantastic.
Yeah.
Last 10 minutes of that were awesome.
Yeah, it was really H.P. Lovecraftian.
It's very eye-opening.
Yeah, it was. It really did.
Yeah, Creepy Cody. We've got Creepy Cody, Creepy Calvin, Phil's Creepy Vids. You've got a creepy cult going on.
Nice.
Ooh, the Creepy Cult. That'd be a good name for a little group chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Creepy Cult.
I like it. Art with Horror says Castle Freak remake was not too bad. I didn't think it was too bad either. I actually liked it, but it was a movie where I watched it and wasn't quite sure if I liked it or not. And I thought about it for a while and was like, well, I guess I'm thinking about it, so I like that. So I kind of like reluctantly like it, I guess.
Well, when dude was fucking the freak, with the castle freak, I mean, you would have thought he would have smelled her or felt that something was off. I mean, when he was strapped down, stuff like that just bothers me. It's like this chick's got to be smelling pretty foul, and he's got to realize something.
I mean, he shouldn't rush to judge, man. She could smell like a fucking rose. You don't know. I mean, we don't know all the ins and outs of the old Castle Freak.
Yeah.
But also, he was
drunk, right?
Yeah, I don't think he was really like in his sort of like super conscious state.
I noticed that Diabolic DVD has the pre-orders of the Blu-ray for Castle Freak up for pre-order.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'll probably end up getting it, of course.
It's like $17.99.
I think Freaky Friday or the Freaky with Vince Vaughn just went up for sale too.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, I know. Freaky Girls Live are doing Freaky as their movie next month, along with Live, because they want to do a pun on their own name for their next stream. So I saw that the Blu-ray was up, and I was like, oh, I should just pre-order it, but it comes out like a few days after the live stream, so that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, Creepy Cody brings up a good point. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a professor character throughout the movie, but he wasn't at the mid credit sequence, was he? It wasn't that.
He was the guy that came into the office.
Oh, he was the professor. Okay.
Yeah. He came in with the Necronomicon.
Right.
He wasn't the professor. He was just like he went to the university and was like broke in and was like, West, I need to talk to you.
Okay. Yeah, because when I heard there was a mid-credit scene taking it back to the old Stuart Gordon universe, I immediately thought Herbert West, and then when they called this dude a professor, I thought, well, that's got to be who that is. They'll reveal that at the end. But it's a kind of a bait and switch then, because it's not actually him. But
Creepy Cody, I think, nailed it. I think he would have meant a pretty good Herbert West, because he sort of had that. I could see him filling that role.
He had that pompous attitude that
pompous, sort of detached from people, like, not really like, I don't know, not super like empathetic in a sense.
Yeah. Plus, his nickname was the Professor.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, is a Reanimator remake the next thing in the works for them at this point, or do we know?
We don't know.
No, I believe they're. I thought I saw that Barbara Crampton is attached as producer on another movie, because I looked on IMDb.com. I thought there was something with Reanimator, something going on. From Beyond, maybe. I forget which.
It would be weird for them to jump right into From Beyond after doing that mid. You think they would go to Reanimator, right? I don't know.
Well, cosmic horror, they can screw with time a little bit if they want.
That is true.
Yeah, they'll just use cosmic horror for their excuse. For
Reanimator was the last movie I saw in the theater. As weird as that is, they had like they were showing it at the Alamo Draft House, and there was a discussion with Jeffrey Combs afterwards.
Oh wow!
So that was pretty cool. And then we got locked down.
I thought you meant you hadn't been to the theater in like 33 years.
That's what I was thinking. Wow.
I'm torn off theaters, yeah. Ever since I saw Lincoln get assassinated, I'm like, fuck this shit.
I caught our drive-in showed Return of the Living Dead,
nice,
which was nice because it was also the premiere of a new movie called Hair Metal Shotgun Zombie Massacre, which was on the double bill with that.
Okay.
That was not a great movie at all. But it was a fun time. Got to see Return of the Living Dead on a big screen. Cool.
Yeah.
I love Return of the Living Dead.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know one person who absolutely hates it though. Andrew Mellon hates it.
Really? Why? What's the hate about it?
He's sort of like picky with horror comedy stuff, so I guess he also hates Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
I know lots of people who hate Texas Chainsaw too, but you've got to take it as its own thing. They wanted to do something different from the original.
I mean, I love part 2.
Yeah,
me too.
I think like the problem for me was around the Next Generation time when they're like, let's try to do something a little different. Like, what if they're a part of the Illuminati scheme to scare people or some shit?
Who's that? Which movie?
Texas Chainsaw Next Generation.
And let's name it after Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, where the fuck is Geordie LaForge? Number 1, number 2.
Creepy Cody said he's going to do his own spin on the Cthulhu mythos. And actually, this, if you do that, this is an outstanding book, the Encyclopedia of Cthulhiana.
I picked that up from the library a few years back. It's really, really thorough and good.
It is. It's exhaustive. Part of this is there's a company called Chaosium that does a role-playing game for Cthulhu. But this guy just compiled every reference in any media, whether it's books, movies, what have you, anything having to do with the Lovecraft mythos. And it's been revised over the years, but I mean, this is just an awesome book. Anything you'd want to know about any ancillary character in any Lovecraft story is in this.
Nice. Did you guys watch Lovecraft Country? Anyone?
Yeah.
It looks really good,
episodes.
though.
Yeah.
Kind of dropped off a little, but overall, I enjoyed it.
I liked it. It was different than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I like the sort of backdrop that they set against the story. You know what I mean? Sort of like the segregation. I want to say it was 50s, right?
Yeah, 1950s.
It was. It might have been the late 40s. The guy was coming back from was it the Korean War that he was in?
It was Korean War, yeah.
Okay, then it would have been the 50s.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I like that element of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It sort of create a lot of tension in certain places, and
I thought it was cool because Lovecraft was very racist, and there's so much racist shit in his book. I like the way that they kind of reconciled that by putting it in that setting and making it about that coming to terms with racism in America during that time. So I thought that was awesome.
And I liked how they undermine that racism in a really subtle way with color out of space as well by making the main character, the narrator, the Miskatonic University student, a person of color. That was cool.
And not just Lovecraft, but even Edgar Rice Burroughs with John Carter of Mars, because you saw some of that throughout too. And Edgar Rice Burroughs is another one who some of his stuff was racist with Tarzan and John Carter being a Confederate soldier and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool because I love those pulps, but sometimes the racism is hard to stomach.
Yeah.
Speaking of color out of space, have y'all seen the movie called The Curse with Will Wheaton?
No, I wanted to see it.
Yeah, so it's an 80s horror movie with Will Wheaton, and it's based on the same source material as Color Out of Space, but totally different type of movie with some of the same things, like meteor comes to Earth, infects the water, blah, blah, blah. People turn into weird zombie things. You should check it out, The Curse.
It sounds
I want
familiar.
to see that. It doesn't. Now that you said it was the 80s, it does. I feel like I must have seen that at some point.
Yeah, if you liked Color Out of Space, it's fun to go back and watch The Curse and see the little, like, since it's based on the same source material, see what source material they used in The Curse. I highly recommend it.
It's just called Curse.
The Curse.
It's just called Curse.
It's called Curse. And then there's Curse 2 The Bite and Curse 3
That was called
Sacrifice, The Final Sacrifice, or something like that.
the sequel was called The Curse 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, it is
Actually,
called
it's
The
called
Curse.
The Curse 2.
Exactly.
It is The Curse because there's the picture for it, but IMDb has it just called Curse. So I don't know.
I feel like there's some other franchise that I've heard about before where the first movie didn't have a the in front of it, and then they made a bunch of sequels that did.
Well, Wes Craven did a sequel about werewolves called Cursed with Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
That's true.
And,
I've heard that movie's fun.
I liked it.
I like
I
it.
loved
I
it.
actually liked it too.
Yeah, the director's cut's okay.
That's the only one I've ever seen. I think I got the DVD and it has the unrated director's cut.
Yeah, that's the copy I have as well.
Yeah,
I've
I think a lot of those late '90s, early 2000 horror movies kind of get panned sometimes. But I loved The Faculty. I loved Urban Legends
Faculty
and all
is
that
so
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah,
There's a vibe to late '90s, early 2000s horror that can be really fun. Some of it's really trashy, but some of it is really good, and some of it's really trashy in a good way.
yeah.
I
think
saw
a
your
lot of-
reply to my comment, Martin, and you got to see The Faculty. You would really love that
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
I am sure I will because
Plus Josh Hartnett.
mhm.
Heartthrob.
And knowing
Heart
Kevin
throb.
Williamson was on board, I'm already all for it.
Faculty was awesome, man.
Yeah,
You got Robert Patrick,
Never mind to watch
T2000.
it. Yeah,
And you got
T2000. You got a Hobbit in there. It's
you got
amazing.
the chick
The
from
Hobbit.
X-Men that plays the Phoenix, whatever.
Chick from Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on.
No.
You got Salma Hayek, Satanica Pandemonium.
Yeah. And some girl who I've only seen in the series 24. I don't even know her name, but
Yeah, the ginger, the redhead. I know who you're talking about.
she was the blonde, actually. I think.
Clea Duvall, or
You can say any name, and I'll just nod and go. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
It was Cleo Duvall. That's the one.
Robert Duvall.
It was Robert Duvall's
Daughter.
Exactly. Faculty's John Stewart in the Faculty.
Yeah, yeah.
Usher's in there too.
I sure did.
Yeah.
That was a super fun movie. I remember seeing that one
Yeah.
in the theater, having a real good time watching that one.
We were talking about almost perfect movies the other night, and I might say that would be a contender. I think that's such a good time, the movie from start to finish.
It is. Yeah, it was
Carrie's mom is in it too.
Carrie's mom.
Yeah, from the original Carrie.
Oh yeah,
What's
she,
that
yeah.
actress's name?
Piper Laurie.
Piper Laurie. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's an insane cast.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
That's right. Clea Duvall was in Ghosts of Mars.
I think Ghosts of Mars is a really fun movie. Objectively,
I do too.
it's not great, but I like it.
You got Hyde from that '70s show. He was in it
Got
also.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube
Yeah.
is really fun in that movie.
I
You
love
got
like
Natasha Henstridge.
what's his name? Desolation Jones.
Yes.
Desolation
I'm really-
Williams, I think.
Really, it was Desolation something. I'm definitely gonna name my firstborn son Desolation. I think.
There was a comic book series called Desolation Jones, I think. So yeah, his name was Desolation Williams, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And then Jason Statham with hair was in it.
No, I didn't know that guy ever had hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the soundtrack for that movie was composed by John Carpenter, but he got Anthrax to play it, along with Buckethead and Steve Vai. So
Yeah.
really good lineup of musicians.
Nice.
It gets a lot of hate, I think, just because there's so much expectation from John Carpenter. But if you if you didn't realize it was John Carpenter making that movie and just went in with an open mind, it is actually a pretty cool movie.
Uh-huh. And I watched it with the director's commentary with him and who's the lead actress in that?
Natasha Henstridge.
Natasha Henstridge. And he loves the movie still. He's still really proud of it. And there's so many things in that movie that he's like, oh, that's a reference to this Western that I watched when I was a kid, and this is the reference to that other Western I watched when I was a kid.
He loves Westerns. I read an interview where he said that was his favorite genre, and if he had his druthers, he would have done a Western at some point.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ghosts of
Vampires was
Mars.
kind of close, right?
And
Yeah.
Ghosts of Mars. I mean, there's a lot of that in Escape from New York as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ghosts of Mars is a remake of Assault on Precinct 13, just in a different setting. It's basically the same premise.
I guess, yeah.
There's another movie with Dennis Quaid where they're on the spaceship and all the people on the spaceship, some of them have turned into cannibalistic things.
Pandorum?
Pandorum? What's it called?
I think it's Pandorum.
Yeah, that kind of has a Ghost of Mars feel to me, even though they're on a spaceship.
Yeah.
The whole body mutilation
And what was the one with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne?
Event Horizon.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
That's good too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that new Scream Factory edition of that.
And that's
that's supposed to come out.
That's such a blatant ripoff of so many other movies, but it's so good regardless.
Has anybody seen The Ward? That's one of Carpenter's. Is that a good movie? No.
That's his last
It's been a long time.
full-length movie, I think.
Yeah, like 2010 maybe. 2010, 2011 maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Amber Heard and I think the girl from Napoleon Dynamite is in it too.
Ben, I liked Sunshine.
Yeah, Sunshine's good.
Going back to Event Horizon and Sam Neill, I just rewatched In the Mouth of Madness recently. That is probably my favorite John Carpenter movie. And
I have not seen it.
Oh,
that
David.
that would be another.
You'll like it, David.
Yeah.
I can't find it anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I could stream it like through.
Cinema One HD.
I forgot. Yes, I'll
Yeah.
look it up there.
I ended up getting the Scream Factory Blu-ray as a Christmas present because my family are awesome.
And
Yeah, I don't like to be negative, but The Ward isn't particularly good. It's real. Even if you don't know it's John Carpenter, it has no earmarks of a John Carpenter production.
Yep.
You know, it has none of his beats or anything like that. And even so, it's just not very good.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed until now, so I guess that's an indication of how good it is.
Yeah.
And Dagon is really good. That's Stuart Gordon's forgotten Lovecraft movie, but it's an awesome.
I hear about that one as well.
I've never forgotten about it. I love that movie. That was a movie that came out. Yeah, that's the one. I lent that to somebody. Never got it back. I have the slipcover still, though.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Got
I
a
love
strong
that movie.
release.
I think that movie was one that surprised me on how awesome it was when I rented. I wasn't expecting too much,
Mhm.
and it really I liked it quite a bit.
Another one I haven't seen. So Dagon, huh?
Yeah, I definitely recommend that one. I like those stories where like the people go into an environment and things are a little off and they keep increasingly get off, but like, you know, it's like that sort of, there's that tension and no one says shit until it's like kind of too late and then it's like all hell breaks loose, you know?
That is why I love
Ben, I was just
Mountain
about to
Madness so much. Yeah.
Ben, I was just about to say it'd be funny on the set if whenever anything went wrong, the director would say, "Daggone it!"
Oh, Ben Grimm, I saw his comment there. Daggone it, I need to see that
I
one.
was just about to say it, and then his comment popped up. I'm like, great minds think alike.
Speaking of a movie like that, Ben, has anybody seen that movie with Natalie Portman? I forget what it's called, but it's the one where her husband, Oscar Isaac, goes missing.
Oh yeah.
And like, what was that called? But that was like that, where it's shit just gets increasingly.
Fuck, what was the name of that? No, I want to say Evolution, but that wasn't it.
Yeah, it's
What's the story?
The one where sorry, go on.
Well, and Natalie Portman, her husband's played by Oscar Isaac, and he was in, what's it called? Annihilation. Yeah.
That's it.
I hear good things about that one.
I thought that was pretty damn good, and you don't hear a lot of talk in terms of it being a horror movie, but I would say that was horror pretty much.
Yeah, I think when it came out, a lot of people liked it in the horror community, and I think it got a lot of. I think I always considered it a horror movie just because I had so many horror friends that were talking about it in that way. I don't know that I would actually consider it a horror movie if I watched it in a vacuum or not.
I would say that bear makes it horror.
It looked more sci-fi to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember when it was coming out, my art teacher in high school, actually, I ran a horror movie club at my school, and I would just be putting up posters. So she started talking to me about Annihilation and how good it was, and kept telling me, you've got to see this movie. And I just never got around to it, but it looked really good.
I think it does have a... I'm sorry, Ben.
I was just going to say, that bear, the sounds that bear makes were so creepy and really well done, I thought.
That's what made me say it's horror, because that was really fucked up. It has a Lovecraftian feel, the whole thing to it.
Definitely.
Hi, Sadie.
Yeah, Sadie is awesome. She does a lot of Twitch streaming and stuff. She's cool.
Twitch. I picked up this yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Anyone cares?
That's your doppelganger, dude. Yeah,
it's like a Laurie Strode and a Phil.
And a Phil, yeah. I like it.
They got my goatee just right.
Yeah, so I've got a doppelganger named Phil out there, and Phil has a doppelganger named Dr. Loomis. And
exactly.
Yeah.
It's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Exactly.
Hey, Phil. I had that.
Oh, you got my figure?
You guys should have done a gag where you put it upwards out of frame and you picked it up. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, I was just saying, David probably just reached down and stole it out of your room.
Exactly.
David, you need to dress that figure up like Phil, put it in compromising positions, and put it on Instagram.
Yeah, and
what else would you steal?
That says I have that, and just put it.
What else would you steal?
There's lots I would steal.
I'm trying not to get into the NECA game. I don't want to. I've been close, but no.
But you collect pops. That's a game I'm not getting into. You know what I mean?
Tristan, my school wasn't cool enough to have a horror movie club either until I got there, and I started one myself because I felt the need to have a horror movie club. So I just...
Cool.
I just got my first pop. This is the only pop I have.
Ooh, Alien Hound.
The Predator,
yeah. I've got a few pops, but only one of them is horror. I've got Michael Myers pop, and then I've got Sarah and the Worm from Labyrinth, and then the Mad Hatter from Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, which a friend gave me. So,
Calvin, you collect pops?
Just the horror ones. I try to. There's so many. I don't want to get them.
What's some of your best ones? You got any good chases or?
I have the Universal Monsters behind me.
Nice.
Yeah, those are pretty hard to get now.
Ooh. Chucky on cart. I have that.
Surprise, surprise.
I'll show you probably my most valuable pop.
I guess this one. This one.
Let's see.
I've actively tried to not get into the pop game.
You've what?
I've actively tried to not get into the pop game because it's like once you start, there's no end to it.
Yeah,
it's a can of Pringles potato chips. You gotta.
So I have the Jack Torrance chase, but I don't have the Georgie.
I like it because his little arm is
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, does it detach?
Yeah, it's detached.
That's
And like a pool of blood.
That is pretty good.
nothing like a dismembered child action figure.
Yeah. I like these two. Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
Zombie ones.
Those are cool.
I have those, but I don't have the Ed variant that you just showed.
Yeah.
This is my most expensive pop.
Oh yeah.
The original.
The original Sam pop.
Yeah. I got that one loose. I don't have the box for that one.
I had
And
that
then-
Phil, but I think it might be a knockoff. Not
Yeah.
tell.
The other one I have is the you know the Hot Topic mystery horror boxes with the leather face with the pretty woman mask.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have the bloody chase of that.
Oh, okay.
Now, why isn't that little guy's name Sal? It's just like
Sal.
pronounced Salin.
Oh. we were talking about the
Sam is
pronunciation
cuter.
of Sam Hain.
Is there a bootleg pops market? I guess
Yeah.
there probably would be.
And I know there are people out there who make custom pops for things, which is cool.
Oh, I don't have that one. I need that one.
Which one?
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't have that one either.
Did everybody see David's video with the or the robotics? What was it called? Those figures were really cool.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, when did you put that video up?
Monday.
Oh, okay.
I watched it, David.
I did too. I love the Leatherface. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
I love the leather face too, David.
I really love that leather face.
I know you do, Phil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a game I'm trying not to get into.
I started off collecting just the horror, and then I got a few like Funko Pop rocks. So I have like Kurt Cobain and Jimi Hendrix, and a lot of those. And then I started getting like
More and more.
figures of like movies from my childhood, like the Teen Wolf and Ghostbusters, and it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
It is a slippery slope.
Dave Maggot did a video of his Pops collection a while back, which was really, really cool. He got one of Death from Neil Gaiman's Sandman comics, which is really nice. I really want to get that one. I've seen some Guillermo del Toro and Pan's Labyrinth Pops out there that I really want, but
Yeah.
there's just so many. I don't want to. Yeah.
This
I kind of,
is all Pops behind me.
Well,
I even stayed away from that Godzilla pop, man.
Sometimes I get comments
staying
on my,
away from a Godzilla thing is dedication. To not
sometimes I get comments on my channel like you're the reason I got into collecting, and half of me feels flattered, but the other half of me feels like I made this guy spend all his money.
Yeah.
people.
Thanks, Phil.
After they're living in the cardboard box on the street,
Exactly.
cursing your
Yeah.
name.
You're the reason they might as well just comment on my channel. You're the reason I'm in debt right now.
Exactly. I'm homeless except for that fort I built out of my
It's their only possession besides paper bags filled with booze.
I got a house made of Funko Pops.
Ethel European Originals down here says Pop has Ultra Q. I didn't know that either. Because I know like Kaiju said he has Pop from the Ultra Q.
They just got everything, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you imagine somebody who just, there's somebody out there that just collects any kind of pop they put out, whether it's horror music, TV. Imagine that collection. That's got to be insane.
There are those channels. I've seen them.
I did see one dude who was doing that too. It looked like his walls were just like made of pops.
Yeah. Those people are out there.
I'm trying not to get into that game. I'm trying to not get into the vinyl collecting game, but I think I'm gonna make a stupid purchase nonetheless.
I love too, but it's so expensive.
I've
Yeah,
seen
I try to stick to CDs because I know I can take those places as well, but the vinyl is super nice. And I just saw that they released the Anna and the Apocalypse soundtrack on blood spattered vinyl, so I'm going to get that at some point.
Yeah.
I have to.
What were you going to say, Phil?
I was gonna say I've seen YouTube channels where it's like the title of their video is like, I spent $10,000 on Funko Pops. And literally in the video, they have like 2 huge boxes, huge, that were delivered on skids because that's the only way like a forklift would lift them. And then it's like an hour-long video of them unboxing, showing each pop in the box.
Now, has anybody ever done the thing where it's like you get into something and you start collecting it and you make a big investment and then a couple months go by and you just lose interest in it?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit?
I've been in that state of mind before, yeah.
Yeah, imagine somebody like somebody spends 10 grand on pops and then like in a month they're just bored with the shit and it's like, what have I done?
They're like,
My walls are popped. What will happen if I get rid of my walls now?
What's
they're
up,
like, I'm
Will?
just gonna put these into my storage with the Beanie Babies. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are the Beanie Babies? They're next to the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Next to the pet rocks and the lava lamps.
Exactly.
Turn left at the Rubik's Cube pile.
Did people actually collect Cabbage? I know like people had Cabbage Patch Kids, but did they collect multiples?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure somebody does.
Weezer.
There's a channel called Found Footage Festival, and they spotlighted a video from the 80s with Xavier, whatever the dude's name was. And he used to have these retreats where people went and treated their Cabbage Patch Kids like children and would go there and sing songs. And it was like a whole cult atmosphere. It was insane.
Oh, those bygone era, man.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days. Now you can just go like and have like a pony play fantasy or some shit, some camp where you pretend to be a horse or something.
With your fellow bronies.
Exactly. Yeah, I never had Cabbage Patch Kids, but I did have friends that had them.
My sister used to have a
My
few
sister
Cabbage Patch
had one,
Kids.
yeah.
I had one named Maurice that was bald except for like a little tuft of hair in the middle.
Well, that's the reverse male pattern baldness.
Charlie Brown, right?
Yeah.
They call that the reverse monk, I think. Could be wrong.
I remember, I guess the companion to the Cabbage Patch Kids for boys was like the My Buddy figure, which is what Chucky turned into.
Buddy.
That was the inspiration for Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were pound puppies.
And My Pet Monster.
I had a pound puppy.
Yeah,
How about these were adorable?
Yeah, and Art brings up the Garbage Pail Kids as well, of course.
Garbage Pail Kid.
Oh, I collected
Love
the
those.
shit out of those, yeah. I still have a lot of them.
I wish I still had mine. I sold them years ago.
I collected the Batman trading cards when that came out in '89. I still have some of those.
Cool.
My parents got me the Macaulay Culkin doll from Home Alone. You pull the string and he would talk. It would freak my brother out all the time.
You used to terrorize your brother with that?
Yeah.
Like go into his room in the middle of the night, just like
You had a killer Star Wars collection, Calvin. I love that.
Oh, yeah, that's takes up a lot of space in my closet.
I think I mentioned to you, like my mom threw away basically all my awesome shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. That made me sad.
That's
That too.
depressing.
That's all right. I've rebuilt. I'll show her. I'll get more Godzillas than anyone. God
Same
damn it.
here, Ben. I sold off my shit years ago for like booze and cigarette money, and I regret it so much now.
All of a sudden, your mom's like, "Where's my good silverware?" Oh, I got rid of that shit.
Like, I don't know.
You didn't need that
I
shit.
got this pile of crack though.
Got this 8-ball.
You didn't need that shit.
I think my biggest collection of stuff right now is Tim Burton and Nightmare Before Christmas stuff because my grandparents have figured out that that's what they like, so they just buy me more Nightmare Before Christmas stuff every year.
There's a lanyard.
I love that.
Phil's got that.
So I have like three pairs of Nightmare Before Christmas pajama pants now because they just keep buying them for me.
It's all yours, Will.
You've got those relatives too. The minute you show the slightest interest in something, it's like any chance to give a gift, they'll give you that, and you find yourself with tons of shit for something you only like really like a little bit.
But I was hardcore into Tim Burton for a long time, and I still am to some extent. I've kind of backed off a little bit, but I'm still into it.
One of the first videos I ever watched on your channel, Martin, was your Tim Burton book collection, I think.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
It's my Halloween costume from last year.
Nice.
That's
Is
awesome.
that the remake, Freddy?
That's part 4.
Okay.
Boy, talk about remakes. Remake Freddy, eh?
I still haven't seen that remake, and I'm probably never going to. Maybe I will. I've heard it had some tiny good elements, but
There was a few tiny good elements in it.
It's my favorite remake. What are you talking about?
That's seriously Craig's favorite remake. Or that's his favorite, like, Nightmare on Elm Street movie because the Freddy was so evil in it.
okay.
It's who was just talking about that? Were you talking about that on Coast to Coast the other night? I think the Freddy remake.
I don't.
And how people were offended about the fact that he was a child molester, but he always was a child molester.
Yeah,
I guess it was more prominent in the remake.
Child murderer. There's a difference. It's weird.
Fair.
If you like, child murderer is an upgrade from child molester. It's
Oh.
weird, but it's weird. It's
Don't tell the
weird.
QAnon group.
Oh, thank you, Art. That's the biggest compliment you could ever give me.
The when they were doing the original Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy was originally supposed to be a child molester, but the producers of the movie changed it to just murderer because of some cases that were going on in California. They didn't want to have it appear like they were capitalizing on it, you know?
I guess a real dream demon actually in the city was molesting kids.
It was a genuine dream demon, yeah.
A little too close to home.
If you like Jason Worm that was running around, it was fucking back then, yeah.
Well, didn't Wes Craven base Nightmare initially on like a real case of a kid who's like seeing stuff in his dreams and then died later?
I think it was like a woman in Vietnam or something.
Yeah.
Philippines or Vietnam.
Yeah.
He'd read some books on it, and then the character of Freddy himself was based on an experience he had as a kid where there was a guy standing outside his window and was wearing the fedora and all that stuff, and it just freaked him out.
Looking up at his bedroom window underneath a little lamppost or something.
Yeah.
And he said he based like a lot of those characters on Bully that he had in school.
Oh
He
man.
sort of vilified him. I can't remember his name, but he also did Krug. Is that the dude's name from Last House, the original?
Well, that was his movie, wasn't it? Wasn't it
Yeah.
Wes Craven?
Yeah, but what was
It was
the
originally called
Is that
Krug and Company.
Was that David Hess's character in that?
David Hess,
Yeah.
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 Krug and
Or-
Company was the original name for Last House on the Left.
yeah? So that was like also based on his. So the fact Krug, Kruger, he based both of those guys on like this bully situation he had.
Well, Seth at Hellbound did a video recently on the Wes Craven movie. I forget the name, with Ernest Borgnine and Sharon Stone in the early '80s. And he brought up a good point. It's been years since I've seen that movie, but there's elements about things happening in dreams and occurring in real life, and that too that he mentioned. Which
Are you talking
makes me
about One Married?
No.
No, okay.
It'd be funny if the original bully went to see Wes Craven's movies and he was always like, that fucker.
If I ever catch him, I'm gonna fucking give him a swirly.
That's like the dude that Kramer on Seinfeld was based on sued them for making such an absurd character. He wanted to lay credit for that. He's like, that idiot is me, and he sued him for that.
I thought Larry David, or that character was sort of based on Larry David.
Now George, I think, was more Larry David. But there was some dude that lived around them who Kramer was based on, and he looks like Kramer in real life.
What was it called? Deadly Blessing?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Seth at Hellbound did a review on that where he mentioned there were elements about things happening in Dream, and I think that movie was made in 1980, which does make you wonder how long Craven had the ideas for this shit in his head.
I have that.
81, yep.
I
Yeah,
watched-
Jackie Earle Hurley, I mean, he's a great actor. It was just a poor script, and as Sean points out, it was just bad CGI and bad makeup.
I heard there were some awful rewrites on the script because the script that the actors were originally given was not what they ended up shooting, and the actors were pissed about it.
Well, wasn't that a Michael Bay production?
Yeah.
Might have been.
Yeah.
I think he micromanages like the Platinum Dunes shit. I think a lot of that stuff's micromanaged.
That was
But-
the
but
last
the-
remake they made because of how that one was received. They said we're swearing off remakes, and that was the last one they made.
But Friday the 13th was also a Michael Bay production.
Yeah, and all the
That was-
Texas
that was
Chainsaw Massacre.
great.
Yeah, Texas, yeah.
And I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I read an interview with I want to say who's the guy that was involved in Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Not Toby Hooper, but there was a guy named Kim something.
Kim Henkel.
Kim
Oh, yeah.
Henkel,
Kim Henkel. I read an interview with him where he said Michael Bay was in his office one day, and what was the World War II movie Michael Bay made? But whatever it was, it lost money. And Michael Bay was in his office saying, "What can we do to make up all this money?" And they were like, "Just buy up the rights to these horror movies and remake them." And that's how he did all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and that shit.
Well, yeah, that one was a solid remake, man.
The first Texas Chainsaw, yeah. Actually, I would say the first two Chainsaws that Michael Bay did weren't horrible. The one with Alexandra Daddario was actually not bad either.
I love that one. Yeah, it's stupid and I liked it. It makes no sense and I liked it.
Yeah. I enjoyed them. How about everybody's favorite Poltergeist? That was a good remake, wasn't it?
I actually never saw that one.
Yeah, I never saw that.
It's my
I love the
second.
original Poltergeist. That is another amazing PG horror film.
Poltergeist is my second favorite remake.
Sam Rockwell's character is so fucking annoying in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just trying to do a riff on the.
He makes a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah. I mean, Craig T. Nelson's character in the original, the way he plays him, he's like a cocky, friendly dad. He's like, everybody wishes he was your dad. And Sam Rockwell tries to do that same, like, obnoxious, cool dad figure, but it just comes off really bad.
There was a cool 3D part for the remake in the movie where they send the drone through the dimension or whatever. It looked really cool in 3D. But that's it. I didn't like anything else about it.
What about the drone? They use a drone in the Blair Witch remake too.
Yeah?
I've seen that, yeah.
That remake wasn't horrible either.
Yeah, that's
That
my
was
third favorite remake.
But that wasn't a remake, though.
It's
A reimagining.
whatever. A reimagining.
Yeah, but it was a straight up sequel because it was that dude's brother or that chick's brother looking for her from that. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
And Ben brings up The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. Did anyone see the Tom Cruise Mummy movie? Because I went to see that in theaters, and it's something of a guilty pleasure for me. I enjoyed it.
I saw it.
I saw it.
Yeah,
It wasn't
we
bad.
talked about that Sunday, Martin. I think, and yeah, I enjoy that movie. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Moon's fantastic.
Yeah, Moon is great.
Sam Rockwell is awesome. I love Sam Rockwell and a ton of shit, but just for some reason that Poltergeist that he's in, I just can't take it.
Wasn't Sam Rockwell in the A-Team movie?
No.
The Three Billboards movie that Paul's bringing up is fantastic.
With Woody
You're thinking of
Harrelson.
Rampage Jackson, David.
Who?
Rampage Jackson. I think that's who you're thinking. You got him mixed up with that.
No, you're thinking of the dude from District 9, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, who's Rampage Jackson?
He's a UFC fighter who played Mr. T in the A-Team remake.
Gotcha, because he sounds like Desolation Williams' brother. Or something.
Exactly. They're cousins.
Yeah, I like the female mummy concept, although there's a little bit of that in some of the early mummy movies, but not quite.
You know, sometimes these remakes come out and they get so much hate, and I watch them and I'm like, that wasn't so bad, and so it becomes like a decent film in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because that's what my expectations were. Mummy was like that. Wolfman was like that too, actually.
I love Wolfman.
I liked Wolfman.
Wolfman's one of my favorite movies.
I have not seen the Wolfman remake actually, but I've heard it's all right.
It's pretty
It's
good.
pretty good. Yeah, good atmosphere, cool transformation.
Cool. And like Ethel brings up, Universal Monsters Cinematic Universe. I was really, really excited for the Dark Universe thing to pan out, even if the movies weren't top tier. I just wanted to see a modern Universal Monster cinematic universe.
I like what they did with Russell Crowe and everything. I felt like they were like doing something like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, like filling in some of these characters. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and I want to see that Clive Barker mummy movie that Ben is talking about that they said they were going to do.
Yeah, I hear it's going to be more sexual and mystical.
As Clive Barker is.
I mean, you guys all heard that at the same time I did, but still.
Joe Dante making a mummy movie with Daniel Day-Lewis.
That would be interesting.
Huh.
Well, Daniel Day-Lewis is retired now.
Yeah, so he says.
That's what Joe Pesci said too before The Irishman.
Yeah. Did you see Lewis's last movie, The Phantom Thread, by the guy that made Boogie Nights?
No, I didn't see it, but I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
It's a slow burn, but it's engrossing. I'll tell you, it's so fucked up watching it because it's about the fashion industry. I forget what decade it takes place in. And it's something I'd have no interest in ordinarily, but there's just something about Paul Thomas Anderson when he makes movies. He can like film grass grow, and it's engrossing.
Yeah.
But the payoff was worth it. It had a good ending.
Hey, Cody.
What's up,
I
Cody?
heard about Wolfman remake with Ryan Gosling, and I heard about they were talking about doing Bride of Frankenstein at one point, which I think would be intriguing.
Yeah, who was supposed to be in that movie? Was it?
I don't remember. They talked.
Scarlett Johansson. I think it was Scarlett Johansson was supposed to play the bride.
Maybe that would have been interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Part 2 of the what is it? The monsters and stay quiet, so the monsters don't hear you.
Yeah, Quiet
Place.
Yeah,
part 2 finally has a release date in March.
Oh, cool.
Probably like just direct to digital or whatever.
What
Maybe
studio?
select theaters.
Oh, Ben, it was supposed to be Angelina Jolie. That would have been cool.
Huh.
When the Dark Universe flopped, I almost felt like Universal should have like combined that with Hobbs and Shaw. Like if anybody saw the movie Hobbs and Shaw, I actually really enjoyed that.
I watched Hobbs and Shaw
because they introduced sci-fi elements into the Fast and Furious universe, and you could almost like put some crazy sci-fi horror shit in there. I thought
that would be a wild crossover.
Yeah.
I mean, the Invisible Man was really successful, so
It was.
Yeah,
I
but
don't doubt that there will be more. I don't think it's dead yet.
It's dark though. They were going for a more fun tone with the money, I think.
They made Dracula Untold, and they added a post-credit sequence with Mina, so they could tie it into the Dark Universe if they wanted to, but then they decided not to. Then they made The Mummy and made it all real big with the Dark Universe logo at the beginning, and then that flopped. And then they made The Invisible Man with a totally different tone, and that's probably never getting tied into the Dark Universe. So it's probably just never going to happen, which makes me sad.
I don't know why they just gave up. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil.
I loved Unhinged. They're talking about it in the chat. New Russell Crowe movie, Unhinged. It's fantastic.
I was going to watch either that or Hunter x Hunter. I ended up watching Hunter x Hunter. But I've been meaning to check out Unhinged.
You should.
So Casey's asking, is there supposed to be a new Van Helsing movie?
Yes, I did read they're doing a remake of that.
Isn't Hugh Jackman getting a little old for that role?
I have some mixed feelings on Van Helsing. The plot twist with a werewolf having to kill Dracula at the ending is just, that just disregards all the Dracula lore that's come before, and it's just like,
yeah, but all that Dracula lore was fictional. That was a non-fictional work, so. And that's the truth. In order to kill a Dracula, you have to use a wolf man.
Yeah,
to kill a Dracula. My dad and I loved horror movies when I was a kid. Like my dad was a huge horror fan. He introduced me to The Wicker Man and The Exorcist and The Omen and everything.
Yeah.
But he would get so freaked out by like different mythologies and different rules and different horror movies. He's like, I thought you couldn't do that to a vampire. And it's like, they just make it up as they go along. You know, each movie has its own mythology. You would get so
I totally get that. But when it comes to Van Helsing, it's supposed to be a tribute to the Universal monster movies. So just disregarding that lore kind of undercuts that in a way that's just like, if you're like, this is a totally different take on the Universal monsters, why are you making it as like this loving tribute thing at the same time? It's weird.
The only thing that I can't stand is when they make a vampire that's not sparkly. Then I'm like, this is it pulls me right out of the story. Yeah.
So I actually watched part of Twilight with my sister the other day, and I didn't hate it.
I watched the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like it really, but I didn't hate it, you know.
I've never seen any Twilight.
My wife and daughters were like obsessed with it.
Yeah,
my daughters love it.
I thought it was okay, but I do not see what Bella sees in this guy who likes to crawl into her window and say, I was watching you sleep.
It is a bit creepy. Yeah. I dig Anna Kendrick. That's about all I can say good about those movies. Dracula 2000 was good. I did like that. And actually, some of the sequels, I think Rutger Hauer and Roy Scheider were in some of the sequels.
Dracula 2000 was fun.
Those were Wes Craven's, weren't they?
I didn't like Mr. Hyde Van Helsing because they make him this big giant thing. And Hyde like shrinks when he drinks the potion in the book. He becomes this little hunch guy. And just making him this big brute monster felt weird to me.
I really enjoyed the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen too. Yeah, that's a good one, Ben.
I highly recommend the comic books. Alan Moore wrote them. Alan Moore, the guy who created Constantine, Swamp Thing. Well, he didn't create Swamp Thing, but he did the best run on Swamp Thing. V for Vendetta. Watchmen.
I hear great things about Alan Moore. I need to get into all of his stuff.
And Alan Moore is such a literary genius. I mean, he's pulled from so many different sources for the League comic books. There are so many shout-outs to James Bond and Sherlock Holmes, and much deeper than the movie would even have you believe. It's crazy.
I like Stuart Townsend as Dorian Gray. That was a good performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alan Moore's retired from doing comic books. He wrote a book called Jerusalem, which I tried to get into. It's a massive novel. One of these days I'm going to finish that. Mm-hmm. But he's an interesting guy. He says he practices magic. If you ever watch an interview with him, he's just sitting there chain smoking and talking about demons and other dimensions and shit.
I love Interview with a Vampire, and I dressed as Gary Oldman's Dracula a couple years ago. Those are two of my favorites as well.
I gotta say Lost Boys is probably my favorite.
Lost Boys is up there. I love Nosferatu, Let the Right One In is great.
Fright Night.
Well, here's a question for you guys. Let the Right One In versus the American remake. I've heard a lot of people say they preferred the remake.
I might agree with that, but I like them both too. But I like the remake a little better. I
have not seen the remake, and I'm not too keen on doing it because it just feels like it is basically doing the same thing but less in line with what I wanted out of the story. I don't know.
I haven't seen the original. I've only seen the remake, so I can't.
I do highly recommend the original. I think it's
not original.
Beautiful movie.
The pool scene is unbelievable in the original. The way it's filmed, if I remember correctly, it's because the camera doesn't cut away.
Yeah, the pool scene is just like one shot underwater, and you're just seeing these limbs fall in. It's great.
The original was a little more of like a sweet coming of age story, in a way.
It's very heartfelt and oddly heartwarming while all this brutal stuff is going on, which is why I love it so much.
But the American remake was much more sinister. I
don't like that. That's not what I want out of Let the Right One In.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the original, but a lot of people, I guess, like the more sinister. A lot of people prefer the American remake.
Yeah. Well, I like the heartwarming because you're trying to reconcile that with all of these weird, horrible things that are happening to all these people, and it just kind of makes you a little bit uncomfortable with how heartwarming everything feels. So it's creepy in that way.
I'll tell you what makes the remake, I think, really stand out, and I don't know if it would have the impact without, is Paul Jenkins, who's an amazing actor. Not Paul, what's his name? Richard Jenkins as her older companion. Mm-hmm. His performance is amazing.
Yeah, I prefer the American version of The Ring too. I watched Ringu not too long ago, and it just didn't hit the same way for me. I don't know.
I like all the Ring stuff.
I've only seen Ringu and The Ring. I haven't seen any of this.
You will die in 7 days.
One of my friends got The Ring on VHS and then watched it out in a cabin in the woods once. I bet that was intense.
Will, I just watched the OG Martyrs again, maybe a couple weeks ago. I have the DVD.
I saw it like a month or two ago.
Yeah, I still need to see Martyrs, but I'm scared because extreme horror.
I know you're not.
Weird.
It's brutal, but it's more brutal than I think people give it more brutal cred than it deserves. It's brutal, but it's also really stylized in a way that doesn't make it feel too real. But there is some. Mm-hmm. There is definitely brutality, but
I've heard it's brutal in that you really care about the characters, so it hurts more when stuff happens to them.
There's another French movie from around the same time called Frontiers, which is almost more brutal, I think, than Martyrs, that you really don't hear about too much.
It's a little. That one's another one that's it's like gorier and slightly more brutal, but the I think Martyrs also is like sort of triggers something. You know, there's like a sort of like domestic violence trigger, possibly. You know. Well, I guess Frontiers has that too, really. You know, with the Nazi man and whatnot.
Yeah, very, very much a family. But Martyrs, I think the ending for Martyrs really sticks with people too. I'm not going to give anything about it away, but just the way it ends after what this organization is building towards, and then that kind of final sequence is.
You mean when she reaches up and crushes his dick?
There's just something nihilistic about it, and I'm surprised nobody's tried to do like a prequel about that organization in Martyrs. Which, like, has anybody ever seen a Spanish movie called The Nameless, based on a story by Ramsey Campbell, who's very influenced by Lovecraft?
Yes, I have Nameless and Nameless too.
Oh, there's a sequel too. I got to check that out because I love Nameless. Nameless is an amazing movie, but the organization in The Nameless is almost like the organization in Martyrs, and I really dig that sort of thing.
I love the cover of Nameless. Isn't it that weird goblin sitting on the bed?
I don't know about that. I thought it was like shadow people reaching up. Are we talking about the same Nameless?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Ben, Tristan, Collector Man, sent me a copy of High Tension not too long ago, so I'm hoping to check that out soon.
I think I saw in one of your videos you said maybe it was a stream or something. I don't remember what it was, but you said that you were like concerned that it was going to be too extreme or something.
Maybe, but I've just heard it so good that I want to check it out anyway.
I love that one, man.
Different.
Yeah, that was like not a trilogy technically, but like a trilogy of really intense French movies around that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the French extreme movement, right?
Yeah. Was that a different movie, Phil?
Yeah, I was thinking Unnameable.
Oh, that's that Lovecraftian type. Yeah, I have the second. I have the sequel to that. I don't have the first one.
Unnameable and Unnameable Part 2.
Yeah.
And it's Unnameable, where the creature's kind of sitting on the bed over the woman, like,
Yeah, and the second one, it's just the naked chick running around with the long hair covering her naughty bits.
Yeah, I really like Part 2.
But yeah, the Nameless, it's a Spanish movie. If anybody seeks it out, it's I think it's pretty good.
What a miss.
Little talk about French extreme movies and a few other things.
Yeah, Will, it's also known as High Tension, and it's fantastic. The uncut version is fantastic. I have that on Blu-ray.
I just got the DVD of that from Collector Man. I'm gonna watch it soon.
I can always tell when people are from the UK because they refer to it as Switchblade Romance.
That kind of gives it away a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say. Sorry.
Oh, go on. No, go on.
I would say you don't have exactly enough like context for it to give it to spoil anything, you know.
Once you start watching it, it might. But it's so like even if you go back and watch that, it's like okay, this is. Oh, I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, there's a polarizing moment there for a lot of people. Some people love it, some people hate it. For me, I didn't absolutely love it, and I didn't hate it enough for it to ruin the movie for me. And I love that movie because there's a furniture decapitation. Boom, done.
I remember when I first watched that. I think I was in a different state of mind at the time, like doing something to affect my mental state. And it really freaked me out because I'm like, is that how easy it is to rip off a head with a dresser?
That's how easy it is, yeah.
Trust me,
like I really got paranoid and started giving it a lot of thought. It's like just the way it comes off is like really trippy.
It's easy, but not that easy. You got to go a couple times. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's popping a pimple almost.
No, popping a pimple with furniture, that's a lot more difficult.
That's just disgusting.
Yeah, there is that controversy, but I love that movie. When it came out, there wasn't. It came out the same year as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, I believe, right? 2004, I think, and House of a Thousand Corpses.
Around then, yeah.
Yeah, around that.
There's basically like a bunch of goofy ass horror movies around that time, and then that year came in, and a lot of like more serious tone horror movies started happening, and that was one of the ones. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. It's yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there was a buildup of extreme horror at that point because you had, I mean, in the 90s you had the self-referential horror like the Kevin Williamson scripted stuff with Scream and all the offshoots. But then you had 9/11 happen, and they say horror films are usually a reflection of like traumatic societal events. Like they talk about the heavy horror movies of the 70s following Vietnam and everything. So you almost have to wonder like what kind of horror movies are we going to be getting in a few years from now.
That is true, but the
that shock
movie.
Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman.
It is so weird to see Trauma and Lloyd Kaufman's name on that movie.
It's not a typical Trauma movie.
No.
Yeah, what were you saying, Ben?
What was I saying?
But it was French, so they weren't really technically affected by 9/11.
Affecting movies like
9/11 I don't think had quite the same impact in France as it did here.
Yeah.
But High Tension got a Lionsgate release, so that was also like one of the earlier sort of when a foreign horror movie would get like a wider American release. You know what I mean, distribution wise, because there was always like little gems and stuff, but now I feel like, it's just open game. We can see all sorts of different foreign horror movies. You know what I mean?
Right. Wasn't High Tension directed by Alexander Aja, who went on to do
the Hills Have Eyes remake?
Yeah, and didn't he do Piranha and Crawl? I think was his last one.
And Horns.
I haven't seen Horns. I've read the book actually.
Horns is a crazy movie.
I like Horns a lot. The thing with Horns is people don't. It has a weird tone to it, where it's sort of like
very weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, and that works for me. I don't mind when a movie does a few different things and sort of plays with the tone a bit. But for some people, it rubbed them the wrong way. But I liked Horns.
The book had a weird tone too. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but in the book, you didn't know if it was real or in his head and that sort of thing. So And even if I recall, at the end you weren't even sure. So I don't know how the movie deals with it. But.
It's worth a watch for sure, 100%.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
You're not supposed to say that, Phil.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the rules of horror.
I'll be right back.
Exactly. Ah!
Joe Hill wrote another really good book I read that they didn't make into a movie. I forget the name of the book. It was about he buys this suit from an old rocker that worshipped Satan. He buys it on eBay, and then his house becomes haunted as a result of it. But that would make a great movie too.
That idea reminds me a little bit of the final segment in The House That Dripped Blood, where the character buys a cape from an occult shop, and it starts actually turning him into a vampire. And then his wife Ingrid Pitt gets it and bites him.
And the Vault of Horror too, where the dude buys the rope from the Swami, or he kills the Swami to get his rope, and then well, I don't want to give it away what happens. But, yeah.
Eden Lake, I have seen that, Paul. I enjoyed it, but as our good buddy Bryn pointed out, probably not one that'll get repeat viewings.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, and I don't know if I'm in the frame after Bryn's review. I don't know if I'm in the frame of mind to watch.
It's a good movie.
It is like, a good movie. Go ahead.
Oh, it's not even the best movie that I'd never want to see again. That title still goes to Requiem for a Dream, but it's up there, man. It's like it's really well done. It's just I don't know that I'm ever in the mood to be like, let's watch Eden Lake again. You know, we'll pop the popcorn and watch us some Eden Lake. But it was good.
I enjoyed it.
And I have only seen it the one time, I think.
Same
Pretty
here.
sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind watching it again with my wife just to get her reaction, but
I think for me the best movie I never want to see again is The Cleaning Lady. Have any of you seen that?
Yeah.
no.
I thought it was pretty good.
It was good, but it was hard to watch.
Yeah, there were some brutal scenes, right? You're talking about like some flashback scenes and whatnot.
The flashback scenes were hard to watch. The rat smoothie at the beginning made me a bit uncomfortable.
What year is that from?
2019 or 2018. It's a recent one.
Yeah.
So let's say 2019 probably.
Yeah, Requiem's a downer, man. It's a powerful movie, but it's a downer.
That's why I never want to watch it again.
Is that Robin Williams?
Which one?
Who's in Requiem for a Dream? I don't recall.
You're Jennifer Connelly and
Jennifer Connelly. What's
Robin
the
Williams?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You're thinking of What Dreams May Come.
Yeah, that's depressing too, but I think that's
that was another good one.
Dream. Yeah, it was good.
Oh, Ben brought up Clown for the sort of clothing transforming somebody into something like idea. That's a good one for that trope as well.
I love there's a scene where he tries to commit suicide, and like there's just like I believe he like shoots himself, right? And there's like an explosion of rainbow colored stuff on the wall. It was so cool. Yeah, that's a good one. That one's darker than you think too. Definitely.
Yeah, I used to own Requiem, but I got rid of it in The Purge. It's yeah.
That movie, I feel like, sent me off into a depressive like tailspin, and I'm just now I know like if I'm feeling in a like a fragile mood, depression wise, there are certain things that I should probably just steer away from. You know?
Yeah, I'm bipolar to begin with, so that's not one I need to see.
No, yeah, that one's a downer. I'll never watch it again, but it was good.
Yeah, I've read and watched a few things that like left me depressed for a few days afterwards, and I appreciate them for how good they were. And sometimes I do actually watch or read them again, and then I'm depressed for a few days again. But it's worth it.
I've read Don Quixote a few times, and one time I read it when I was like really depressed, and another time I read it when I wasn't depressed. And the way that I took the character in was so much differently. Like in one, I was like, when I was depressed, I was like, oh man, these people are like totally mocking this dude, and it's like bummed me out. And then when I wasn't depressed, I was like, oh, this guy's like shaping his own reality, you know, with just this pure will of like believing in this stuff because people are bending to his will, you know, treating him like a knight for whatever it's worth.
When in the early days of the internet, I went on a spree looking at like real life horrors, like Faces of Death shit.
Oh no.
And I saw stuff I wish I could unsee. It's like my dad was in Vietnam, and he doesn't like to talk about it because of the things he saw. And that's how I feel after looking at some of the shit like car crash victims and shit. I really wish I could go back and see that.
Brutal horror is one thing, and some of that is kind of cringeworthy for me, but I will take all of that over any kind of real life violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't watch any of that shit. I watched a beheading once, and I was like, never again. I mean,
this was years and years. This was like 20 years ago, probably, when I got my first computer at the time, and it's just like curiosity, like, oh, that's online. Let me take a look. And yeah,
pictures are one thing. The audio from certain things is like so makes such a big impact on me.
Like when I was a kid in the video store seeing Faces of Death, and I so wanted to see those movies, but that was the one thing my parents wouldn't let me get. But I saw them as an adult then, and there were just really a lot of bullshit in there.
Mostly bullshit and the animal killings, which
Yeah.
I remember watching. I'm not a big fan of that franchise, and I seen the first one I think when I was in middle school. I want to say junior high, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. But back then I totally thought it was real. I was like, damn, that bear's eating that whole face.
Yeah,
I would worry. I
would say when we were in like middle school, that was the thing to rent and stuff and watch at a sleepover. But yeah, it's disgusting.
I would worry about anybody who says I'm a big Faces of Death fan.
Where's Rick, man? Rick in the house. He's a big Faces of Death fan. A lot of people are Faces of Death fans.
Yeah, see, even Cody's saying, you know, as a kid, that was the thing to rent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too keen. I have never seen anything like Cannibal Holocaust, and I'm not keen on doing so. Just even knowing that there was animal cruelty in the process of making it. I know there was a cruelty-free cut and everything, but I still just can't do it.
Fair enough. That one's pretty extreme anyway, too. I don't know that you'd like the rest of the content other than the animal killings, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like Cannibal Holocaust, and I don't like the the animal deaths. Obviously, it's fucking terrible. And I have the Grindhouse Releasing, which has the animal cruelty-free version. But that
really?
Yeah, that's the only way I've watched it. And the animal cruelty stuff in the cannibal films has turned me off of a whole subgenre, because I think I would actually like that subgenre a lot if it wasn't for the people always trying to like one up.
You have this one by Sage Stallone.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because this has the turtle and the mongoose and all that.
Well, I don't know. I have like a special edition. You can put it in, and it gives you the choice of watching the animal cruelty free. It has both versions on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there were other movies that had like Cannibal Ferox, I think.
All of those cannibal movies are like, oh, this is our.
Now I know I can't watch any of those cannibal movies.
And Friday the 13th, the first one, they decapitated the snake, right?
Yeah.
Crap, I watched that. Damn it.
And in the Apocalypse, they used to just like torture hippos and shit. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Yeah, animal cruelty disgusts me.
They were just like touching the hippo.
What theme was that?
That snake needed your help, Martin.
Exactly.
I know. I needed to reach through the screen and save it.
I'm not going to get into it. I had a lively discussion with another YouTuber on a live stream once about it.
Yeah, the other thing I'm curious about is I've seen deep red, like the lizards with the pins through them. Is that real? Because I really hope it's not.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Great. Oh yeah, Ben, they kill a snowman in Anna and the Apocalypse with a seesaw. Poor guy. Snowman cruelty.
That is true.
No.
The snowman.
Mountain of the Cannibal God. Is that the one with Stacy Keach and is it Elkie Summer in that? That made it onto the video nasties list, but that's actually that's a fairly tame movie. That's
all those video nasties are tame, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, what was that one movie that was on there? Anthropophagus or something?
Yeah,
that's pretty hardcore.
I like that movie. I have that.
I love that movie, but yeah.
And then the sequel is called Absurd.
Yeah, it's not really a sequel though. It's a sequel in tone, but not like in story.
Yeah, and then there's a new one, Anthropophagus 2000.
Yeah,
which I still have yet to see.
The Anthropophagus is not a good movie, but the pacing for it is too slow for me. But I like the sort of concept of it. So it's,
Creepy Cody Blood Tide's fantastic. I have that on Blu-ray. Another really good one that no one ever talks about is called The Wind, with Meg Foster, the chick with the weird eyes.
Yeah.
There are a few movies called The Wind out there. I read a really weird one a while back, but I don't think it's the same movie you're thinking of.
Is The Wind on DVD? I saw a trailer for that online a while
Arrow
ago.
just put it out on Blu-ray.
Okay. Because at the time I saw the trailer, I don't think it was out.
What's his name from Space Vampires movies in it too?
Steve Railsback?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hobbs just did a review of a Wild Eye movie he's in. And I remembered him doing Ed Gein, but I forgot he also did Manson. So he's done Manson and Ed Gein.
I like The Caller with Malcolm McDowell. It's a good movie, Ben. I have that on Blu-ray.
Are you talking about Life Force for Space Vampires?
Life Force, yeah. Steve Railsback.
I really need to see Life Force. I think I'll like it.
You'll like it.
It's pretty. It's pretty good. The Steve Railsback Ed Gein is way better than the Kane Hodder Ed Gein, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like
Steve
I was
Railsback's no joke.
What'd you say?
Railsback's no joke. I think he's a little fucked in the head in real life. And you look at his face. I don't know if the dude's had addiction issues or what, but he wears the mileage, I think, on his face. He brings a lot to a role that way. Like you see some actors. That's the difference between actors today and actors in the past. Like some old time actors actually served in World War II, and you know they went to war, and you see that gravitas when they're on screen. And that's something that older movies, I think, performances really bring that. You don't see that too much these days. But somebody like Railsback, he looks like he's lived a rough life.
The best portrayal of Ed Gein is Robert Blossom in Deranged.
I haven't watched that one. I've heard about it.
You should watch Deranged with Robert Blossom as Ezra Cobb, based on Ed Gein, and the closest narrative to the actual story and events that took place.
I mean, if it's just characters based on Ed Gein, you got so many to choose from, you know? Yeah. He inspired, for someone that wasn't actually a serial killer, he has inspired so many like arch villains, you know what I mean?
I don't know if he's got an estate or any descendants ready to claim that they're related to him, but I imagine they could sue a lot of different people for appropriating his practices.
But I don't know if you can. They're all pretty removed, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can sue someone just for being like a weird sick fuck. You know, they a weird sick fuck based on an actual weird sick fuck.
Well, they, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Silence of the Lambs and all those movies, I think they all said that, and Psycho, I think they all said that it was based on Ed Gein. They admitted it.
Yeah.
But I would imagine.
Yeah. Have you seen Hitchcock, the Alfred Hitchcock biopic?
I haven't seen it.
Here's my Ed Gein bobblehead.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but in Hitchcock,
I like that.
Ed Gein is Alfred Hitchcock's imaginary friend, and it's amazing.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a scene where Alfred has this like existential crisis, and he's like, I can't. He's like talking to a psychiatrist. He's lying back in the chair, and he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. My movie's falling to pieces. I don't know where my life's going, and it pans out, and Ed Gein is sitting there as the psychologist, just taking notes and being like, "That's okay."
Hitchcock was funny. Did anybody ever see the anthologies he used to put out back in the day? He'd gather like short stories by authors that would publish short stories in the pulps and even Playboy
I've
magazine.
seen those around. I haven't read any of them though.
He would do introductions to them, which are really, really funny.
I mean, his introductions to Alfred Hitchcock Presents are hysterical.
Yes. Like I grew up reading these. These are just like he used to do paperback versions of these and hardback for kids, and some of the stuff in here is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing about Ed Gein, by the way. I'm just responding to Paul. He's another guy that made furniture out of interesting materials. He always had a warm place, a little spot in my heart for that guy. He's like a DIYer. He couldn't help it.
So, guys, we are at 2 hours. I know it's a weeknight, so if anyone needs to drop off, feel free. But I'm okay to keep going if you guys are.
I might want to drop off soon. I could go for like another 50 minutes if you wanted to, but whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna take off. I gotta go. I gotta wake up super early, so.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
Calvin, thanks for hanging out.
See you,
with us.
Calvin. Nice meeting you.
Calvin. Calvin.
Everybody,
Bye,
check
guys.
out Calvin.
Glad we're connected now.
Yes,
Yeah.
please
See
do.
ya.
Yeah,
Thanks, Calvin.
keep being awesome. Take care.
Yeah, definitely go subscribe to Calvin, man. He needs more subscribers.
Definitely.
Yeah, there was that era where they put out Gain, Dahmer, Bundy, and Gacy.
Yep.
Those movies.
BTK.
I have the Ted Bundy with what's his name as Ted Bundy. Where's that?
What is his name?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was. I don't know if it was called Bundy.
Al Bundy.
From the 80s.
I think it was called Al Bundy.
Al Bundy from the 80s.
Yeah.
I always thought that was because it wasn't long after Married with Children debuted that Ted Bundy came out. So I always wondered if like the people behind Married with Children thought, fuck, how did we step in this shit coming up with Al Bundy as the name and then Ted Bundy hits?
Yeah, I remember always having that same association, the
Yeah.
Bundy name. 'Cause those are the only two people I've ever met named Bundy.
I know.
Oh, King Kong Bundy, right?
Oh yeah.
My bad. My bad.
Oh yeah, the Efron Bundy movie. I forgot about that. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Who watched it?
I watched it.
Was it good?
It was pretty good, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah, I saw pieces of it. I don't remember. watching
Zac
the whole thing.
Efron's not a bad actor. I've seen him in a few things, and I got no problem with him.
Yeah, I mean, he did an okay job, I think, I mean, Ted Bundy was allegedly supposed to be like a pretty charming dude or whatever, right? So
There are pictures of him out there, like drying dishes, like posing for pictures, drying dishes with his lady friends and whatnot. Really charming smile and everything.
yeah, I thought it was okay. The Night Stalker series on Netflix, I watched that.
Is that? You mean Kolchak?
No, the new documentary on Night Stalker.
I've been hearing some pretty negative stuff on it personally. Did you like it?
I didn't love it. I thought it was going to be a lot more informative than it was, but I also didn't hate it, and there was some information about him that I didn't know and his crimes that I didn't know, which is interesting since I've, been hearing about that case for so many fucking years. I didn't know that he had abducted children and like molested them and stuff.
Ted Bundy did.
No, Richard Ramirez.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a great series.
I didn't know anything about that. So, but yeah, overall, I mean, I don't know. There's probably better documentaries on that dude.
Ted Bundy escaped police custody twice. Holy shit.
Yeah, he was slippery, man.
I have Manson there, Wild Will. James Van Beber.
Yeah, Manson was I don't know, he was quite a character, man.
You ever see his interviews?
Yeah, he was a character.
Yeah.
You dig? You dig?
You ever see that documentary 6 Degrees of Helter Skelter?
Mm-mm.
No.
Is pretty good. I'm not a Manson fan, or like I've never been into true crime.
I'm
like
not
serial
really.
killers or anything.
I'm not really a true crime guy either, but I did get pretty into the whole Black Circle stuff in Norway that Lords of Chaos was based off of, just because I'm a black metal fan. I went down that rabbit hole.
Did you see Lords of Chaos?
I haven't actually seen Lords of Chaos. I was a little off-put initially by the fact that it's set in Norway and nobody has a Norwegian accent, but I do want to still check it out.
Have you seen Deathgasm?
I love Deathgasm. Deathgasm is amazing.
Yeah, both. Deathgasm was pretty good. I thought it was fun. I should rewatch it again.
Just this metalhead that just constant references, combined with just the crazy comedy gore scenes is just perfect.
I think it didn't quite resonate with me in the same way that it resonated with everyone else. I should rewatch it because I love metal and I love comedy and I like horror. So what the hell, right?
Yeah. If you haven't seen Heavy Trip, it's a Finnish movie. It's like a metal comedy deal about a band that are trying to travel to this festival in Norway, and it's got this really weird, dark sense of humor. The drummer has been pronounced legally dead several times, but they'll just pound on his chest and revive him again and put him back on the drum stool.
Nikki Sixx.
Yeah.
Martin, do you like real life supernatural and the occult?
To some extent. I used to be more hardcore into that than I am now. I've been getting back into it a little bit more recently.
Mm-hmm.
I love UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot. I watch all that crap.
I really recommend this series. This is an amazing old school series.
In search of Noah, yeah.
I may want to check that out. I have a little box set I may want to show off really quick. I will be back momentarily. Note that I did not say I will be right back.
I don't have any box sets, so
this was another good series back in the day. Arthur C. Clarke, the dude who wrote 2001: A Space Odyssey. He had a documentary series for years, and he covers a lot of good shit in this too.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, movies dealing with possession and alien abductions are always scarier to me than like slasher stuff. I don't know, because it's. I don't know.
Do you like Fire in the Sky?
Oh, that's a good movie. Yeah,
I love.
The fourth kind was a good one.
Yeah, with Henstridge.
Yeah.
What about Communion with?
Communion's good.
Yeah, Communion's fantastic. If you like Fire in the Sky, you should watch Communion because they're kind of based on the same stuff.
Just reorganized my DVDs and I can't find anything, but I got a ton of those movies.
Haunted Locations. What does that say?
This says Haunted Histories. It's a set of History Channel creepy.
Oh yeah.
So you've got one on poltergeists. One on the history of Halloween. Got one on the Salem witch trials, vampires, hauntings. Really good set.
Very, very nice.
That's a great series. I've seen that.
Fire in the Sky was good. I rewatched that one pretty recently because I feel like it didn't get a Blu-ray release or something, or didn't get one for a long time.
Yeah, or it's hard to get or something.
Or it's hard to get out of print, something like that.
a Region 2 out there that's pretty cheap you can get.
I saw it. It was on. I believe it was on Prime, so I ended up watching it again because I've been wanting to see it for years.
Now, we were talking about Lovecraft earlier. Here's a movie that gets into Lovecraft a little bit. This is a really good movie, I think.
I've heard people recommend that before. Yeah, I haven't seen it though.
I'm not familiar with that one at all. I'll have to look into that.
It kind of blends Hunter S. Thompson with Lovecraft and a found footage, and it does get into conspiracies and MK Ultra. So I really dug this movie.
That sounds really cool. And same Ethel, I watch the History Channel Halloween documentaries every year. They're pretty nostalgic for me.
This is one of the best movies about Roswell, I think, with Kyle MacLachlan and Martin Sheen.
It's a clever title.
Yeah.
Very original.
Well, this was the first movie that I think really dug into it after the Bob Lazar brouhaha in the late 80s.
There's a really good kind of sci-fi comedy movie called Alien Autopsy.
Oh yeah, that was on Fox back on Fox TV back in the mid '90s when.
No, not the. I'm not talking about the actual Alien Autopsy footage. I'm talking about it. They made an actual movie about the Alien Autopsy footage. How this guy found it in a barn, and then since he opened the canister to the air, it destroyed the footage. But he wanted to release it to the public, so then him and his friends recreated what he had seen and made their own Alien Autopsy and then released that footage. It's a really, really good comedy. You should watch it, Alien Autopsy.
See, every time I open the canister, just the dead come back to life. So I don't know. I never found any weird alien videotapes, but what do I know?
Have you guys seen Paul?
I love Paul.
Yeah, I like that movie too.
I've seen for Paul, but I've never watched it. It looks fun.
I can't find it right now, but there was a movie called Conspiracy Theory, not the Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts one, but it was a found footage movie from a few years back. It's a semi-comedy, but then it gets serious towards the end. It's a ridiculous movie, but I would recommend it. If you've ever seen Ancient Aliens, that show on the History Channel, it kind of plays off that a little bit and plays with the absurdity of that show.
That has the guy with the crazy hair.
Giorgio Tsoukalos.
It could be Alien.
I love him. I saw somewhere where somebody recreated that meme, but with one of the Martians from Mars Attacks, and it just says "ack ack 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 ack" across the bottom.
Yeah. Yes. I used to have that whole series on DVD. I only have this season still because some of the stuff in this season I think is amazing, but a lot of the stuff on that show is just nonsense after a while.
Somebody actually made like a custom action figure of that guy too. I've seen that floating around.
So have any of you guys ever taken part in like an actual paranormal, like a outing or whatever?
I went on a ghost tour of Louisville a few years ago. I was
Did you go to Waverly Hills?
We did not go to Waverly Hills. This was more of just a local areas walk, but I know they do a lot of stuff at Waverly Hills, and it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
We did Bloody Mary when I was a kid. That was about it.
I went on like a haunted tour of Edinburgh, which was really cool.
I went on a haunted tour of New Orleans, and they took us around to some of the places that they filmed Interview, and then it took us to a pharmacy that was supposedly haunted, and then we went to an old plantation, Oak Alley, which was used in Interview as Louis' plantation. So it was cool.
I would love to go to New Orleans just to see the Interview locations. I remember one of my friends telling me that they were actually in New Orleans reading the book while they were filming the movie. So everything just kind of lined up.
If anybody ever sees this series, Unsolved Mysteries, there were 2 box sets that came out. One was for ghosts, and the other was for aliens.
I always hear people talk about that show and that it's really good.
Yeah, there's one segment on here that I think, Dave, the plantation you were just talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's the plantation on here that they go to. They go to Lizzie Borden's house too, and this was. See, what I like about this series especially, it was done back in the day before they started sensationalizing these types of shows. Now if you watch these shows today, everything's sensationalized, like they do jump cuts. But back in the day, they would just have somebody sit down and tell their story from start to finish, and you could read their face and read their body language and see they weren't full of shit. And when they go to Lizzie Borden's house, the camera equipment gets fucked up and stuff starts flying around, which was unlike anything on any other segment that they did regarding ghosts. I mean, you could tell the camera people were kind of fucked up about this. So that's highly recommend that if you ever see that. I think that's out of print now.
I love that show. I mean, I watched that show religiously every week when I was, middle school.
Yeah, those sets go for crazy money.
They have like a new season on Netflix too.
Yeah, it's
2 new seasons on Netflix.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any of them.
No,
I should watch them both.
I know for a while they were recycling old segments. I think Dennis Farina was hosting it, but they were just showing shit that they showed back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They're talking about demons and aliens in the chat. I'm not scared of any of that stuff. I've not had any of those experiences, so like for me, it's not.
I have a whole occult library that you can't see. I'm not into the occult, but I find that shit fascinating, and I have my own beliefs about what life is about and what reality is.
Yep.
And I do find that shit fascinating.
Yep. I'm honestly not sure what I believe, but I have enough friends that have had paranormal experiences personally that I'm open to it as a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not close to it as a possibility. I just haven't had the experiences. So if I see like a story about an experience, it doesn't have the same gravitas as like a true crime story would or something, or like an Eden Lake, for instance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, for years, I didn't believe in UFOs. I thought, it's bullshit. If anything was happening, we'd know about it. There's no way we could cover it up. Now, I worked in sales for a lot of years. I used to sell real estate. I used to do telephone sales. And when you work with salespeople, you learn to read bullshit because salespeople are bullshit artists. So you can kind of read people and tell if they're telling you the truth. And I remember, this is like 12 years ago, I got that Unsolved Mystery set, and I started watching these old timers that were at Roswell. And I'm watching this, and it hit me that, holy shit, these guys are telling the truth because you can just read their body language. They have nothing to gain. And they're like, you can believe, they're like 80 years old. They're like, you can believe me if you want. If you don't want to believe me, fuck you. And at that point, I was like, I need to look into this more. And I went down the rabbit hole pretty deep. My beliefs kind of settled out at a certain point here, but I fully believe that Roswell happened, that they've been visiting ever since the beginning of time.
I mean, I don't think we're alone in the universe. I mean, that just seems ridiculous to believe.
It would be sad if we were.
Yeah.
Speaking of demons, though, Ben, I wanted to ask: did you order that Demons 1 and 2 set from Arrow UK?
I haven't gotten it yet or ordered it yet. I'll get around to it. That's coming out in February, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, they mentioned sightings in the chat. I don't have that on DVD, but I watched some of those recently on YouTube. That was a good show, too.
David, you're really up on highlighting comments. I never do that in my live streams.
Yeah, Roswell was definitely real.
I mean, it is a genuine location, right?
Actually, it occurred outside of Roswell.
What are your views on Bigfoot?
I tend to think it would be harder to not have seen a race of simians like that, but I'm open to it. I'm definitely open to it. I don't know where they'd all be hiding at, but it's funny because Bigfoot is, especially in recent years, it's very tied into UFOs. There are a lot of Bigfoot sightings around areas where UFOs are sighted. And that's not something that used to be a thing. It's just more widely reported, I'd say, in the last 20 years or so. That is true. They find new animals all the time.
Yeah, they do. I remember like the coelacanth they thought was extinct forever, and they found one. They're like, oh shit, we were totally wrong on that one.
Can you imagine what's down in that ocean that would scare the living shit out of us if we found out about it? I mean, you talk about Cthulhu being a myth. I would imagine there's shit down there, giant squid that almost look like Cthulhu.
Paul, I like Willow Creek.
Yeah, I do too.
I do too.
Fuck the ocean. Fuck that place.
Fuck the ocean.
And that's the thing with Bigfoot. Like, they say 90% of the ocean's unexplored. Like, pretty much the same with the woods in British Columbia. Like, you don't know what's living in those woods because nobody's ever been there.
And the Himalayas, where the Yeti is supposed to be found.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like Bigfoot and Sasquatch movies? Because honestly, the only one I've seen is Bigfoot Blood Trap, and never.
Yeah, I haven't seen Harry and the Hendersons.
There's some good ones out there.
I like Primal Rage. I don't think you'd like Primal Rage necessarily, Martin, but I liked it.
I like
right.
Exist is good.
I thought that was good. I want to see that.
Yeah, I like.
What was it? Legend of
Augie Creek.
Yeah.
I know there's an anthology called like American Sasquatch that Dave Maggott's a part of, which looks like fun. That's a thing.
I know there's a Sax Squatch.
Sex Squatch.
Not the Sex Squatch. The Sax Squatch.
Is that a Jim Wynorski movie like the Bear Wench Project?
I would not.
No, but
I would not
it's
be
just some dude on YouTube who plays like the sax dressed up like a fucking Bigfoot.
Or the
I've seen Sex Squatch. I'm not going to see Sex Squatch. The other Jim Wynorski movie title that I hear thrown around a lot is The Hills Have Thighs.
Yeah, that's a good one. I heard you mention that in the. I think you mentioned that in your Chopping Mall review, right?
I did. Yeah.
My favorite one is The Sexorcist.
That one's very good.
Did you see that comic strip that was going around a while ago on Facebook called The Texorcist, where it's a guy in a cowboy hat, and he's got the big belt, and Reagan's on the bed with her head backwards, and it's just him pointing to the door saying "Get."
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah. My favorite of those is The Exorcist, where it's spelled like exercise instead of exorcise, and it's just like someone trying to like get the demon to go out by making her do sit-ups or something.
Nice.
Bear Wench Project was good, yeah.
Cleavage Field was bad. Well, how could Cleavage Field be bad? I mean, that's just a classy name.
That's another Jim Wynorski classic.
Oh boy.
And the thing is, like come the 2000s, he started making all those movies, but even in the 90s, I have a movie, Stealth Fighter, I think. It's Daniel Baldwin and like Kevin Williams. The guy from Dusk Till Dawn.
Fred Williams?
Fred Williams, yeah. It's actually a decent movie. A lot of cheesy movies, but then come the 2000s, and he's like making all these pun sex titles.
David, is that a real movie?
No, I made it up. It could be real. I don't know.
I would not be surprised. I remember, Ben, when you were doing your contest and porn parody titles.
That's how I met David.
That's one of the first horror community things I entered in. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, what was your title?
Alfred Big Cock and Psycho.
What was it?
Alfred, I'll type it. Alfred Big Cock and Psycho.
Definitely one of the best entries, I think.
Yeah, I was very unoriginal with mine. I said Pants Labyrinth.
I thought that was a good one too, though.
Yeah,
I liked it because it was innocent in an adorable way.
Alfred Big Cock Psycho.
Yeah.
This must have been before I was around. I don't remember these.
That was for contests I don't remember, maybe like 400 subscribers. It's a long time ago. My channel doesn't grow that fast. Last year sometime.
Yeah, I remember that because I ended up getting Suspiria out of that, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, that's cool. He got the Suspiria Steelbook, dude.
Yeah, that is a beautiful steelbook.
Yeah,
with the
Edward
cover.
Penis Hands. I remember that.
Yeah, with the slip, right? You got the slip on it.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful steelbook.
I'm
impressed you have that.
Yeah, I had two of them.
So I have a stack of 14 over there in the corner.
I had to take I have like a bunch of Halloween box sets from Scream Factory, and I had to remove all those so I could
make room for the steelbooks. I'm still trying to give away 12 Ghost Sheet Michael Myers NECA figures.
Nice.
I just saw in the chat, Wild Will says, we've still never truly found the missing link. I have my theory on what the missing link is.
And wasn't there Lucy, the Australopithecus? Wasn't that the missing link?
They've still never convincingly planned how we went from hunter-gatherers to building pyramids essentially overnight.
Aliens.
Tinkering with DNA.
You watched Stargate? The aliens built the pyramids.
I don't believe that. I believe humans built pyramids, but I do think...
But it was to their alien masters.
Well, see, there's a grid on the Earth where these ancient monoliths and these monolithic structures were built. A lot of them do align with constellations, and I do kind of think there was a pattern that back in the ancient days, something was saying, build this here because someday in the future, man will be cognizant and able to piece this together and say to themselves, yeah, there must have been something else going on back then. Not directly spelling it out for them and pointing to it directly, but just putting the hint in the back of your head to get you thinking about this stuff.
Well, it's like the Antikythera, right? That like crazy ancient mechanism that they found with Yeah,
that was from Greece, wasn't it? I think that was yeah.
So what do you think about Stonehenge? Is it really just random stones that are standing there, or do you think it's something?
No, that shit will fill your mask full of bugs, dude.
Yeah, that's right. You put a little piece of that in a rubber mask, you'll have snakes coming out of your eyes.
I watched a documentary a while back on how everybody would have had to haul all of those stones there, and it was intense.
Yeah. But the thing is, with Egypt at least, don't underestimate the amount of slaves that they had. I mean, you can accomplish a lot with slave labor.
It's biblical.
Yeah. Literally biblical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Pyramids were the go-to structure for civilizations that had no interaction with each other, but it's just like as soon as people could start building these monolithic structures, they all settled on pyramids. It's like that's the shape that suddenly they all decided to build shit in.
And what about the Inca lines that are only viewable from space?
Right, the Nazca lines.
The Nazca lines, yeah.
And the crop circles.
The cop cycles.
The cop cycles. The coxicles.
Chips.
Yeah, the Easter Island, yeah. I mean, people are pretty ingenious, you know. You can accomplish a lot. I mean, look at all the magic tricks that are like boggle people's minds, and they go, "Oh, there's a fucking second one or something." You're like, "Oh,
right." Well, Ancient Aliens, the TV show, like that Giorgio Tsoukalos. After a while, he was like, "Well, the Japanese sword, the katana, was created by aliens because how could humans have developed the double-edged blade that's so genius?" And it's like, dude, come on, you know.
We have brains. We can figure things out.
Yeah, I think they sell the human race short to a certain extent, but what always gets me
sometimes too. Humans are the worst sometimes, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, behaviorally we suck, but in terms of engineering feats and things like that, we can certainly do it.
We make a beautiful
very good point.
Each other with.
Now, if there's a single edged thing, then it's only human nature to go, well, that would be better if there was two of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More, always more.
Yeah.
Well, in one episode, they were talking that the Civil War was implanted in the back of like people's brains to fight that, and that George Washington was seeing aliens and shit. And it's...
But he was an alien. He was the original alien, I think.
Yeah, those wooden teeth were chipped out of Stonehenge.
Exactly.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Stonehenge has a wooden core. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
It's like the Chewy center of the Tootsie Roll Pop.
Exactly. It's the nougat of Stonehenge, they call it.
Or the guy that said in the Civil War, let's take a rifle and then we'll attach a big knife to the end of it.
Exactly. Well, they didn't have flashlight technology yet, so what else are you going to do?
Or it's like if you see the way they used to fight, like they'd be in a line standing facing each other just a few feet apart with their muskets just firing directly at each other.
I mean, back then it took so long to load your fucking musket, right? I mean, you had to like, what else are you going to do except stab your opponent while he's reloading, you know?
Paul's stepmother is an alien. Wow.
That's a funny movie, actually, with Dan Aykroyd and Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
I was going to say, my mother was a car, so I don't know if any youngsters will get that. That was like an ancient-ass TV show,
Yeah.
My Mother the Car.
I've never heard of that, but it sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah. Based on a true story.
Well, Ben Grimm, I like to stay on top of conspiracy theories just because I find them interesting. And QAnon has been connected to ancient conspiracies with the ancient bloodlines and the shape-shifting reptilian aliens and all that horse shit. So, yeah, Alex Jones and David Icke have been talking about all that shit for a while now.
I am hesitant to jump into this conversation.
Yeah,
I was trying to.
There's the conspiracy circles have really been commandeered by, I think, right-wing thinking, and I think some of the things we've gotten over the past couple of years have been to fuel that camp online, the right-wing camp a little bit. I just like staying on top of it to hear what the newest thing is out there.
It is kind of fascinating. Like I read some news article that just like gave the cliff notes for the QAnon dudes, and I was like, there's people that believe that, and I guess you weave a story sort of over time and in a slow manner that when you like just read the sort of bullet points, you're like, that doesn't track at all. You know what I mean? But like,
it's so fucking. I mean, it's Francis Ford Coppola was apparently putting shit into his movies like 30 years ago. Like in The Godfather Part 3, there's a part in the Vatican that he was seeding these things in there back then. It's just, but it's funny. Paul mentions Coast to Coast AM, which is a radio show that's been around for decades, talking about aliens. And when Lauren's collection first mentioned the Coast to Coast stream with you guys and Cody and everything, I remember commenting on Cody. I was like, "Are you a Coast to Coast fan?" And he had no idea what I was talking about because it is the name of that radio show.
Yeah, I've never heard of that show.
We should sue him, man.
We should totally sue them. They'll be like, "But you infringed on our copyright."
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "Oh,
How dare you come up with how dare you steal my title before I
preemptively stole my shit, motherfucker."
Yeah, Cody was probably thinking, who's this asshole commenting? Because he just politely responded, it's just the best name I could come up with for people on different coasts talking. So.
Yeah, the lizard people. There was a lizard people, like a whole like weird in Castle Freak. It was like a little chunk of dialogue that made no fucking. It just felt out of place and weird and like awkward. And it was just like
they just decided to shoehorn lizard people in.
Yeah, they're like. Yeah.
That does go back to. Lovecraft. I have this book, the Cthulhu Mythos, by Robert E. Howard.
Ooh.
And this is Robert E. Howard is the guy who created Conan the Barbarian. He wrote the Conan story.
Yeah, I know him and Lovecraft used to kind of swap ideas.
Exactly. They were pen pals. They would write letters to each other. And Robert E. Howard wrote several stories kind of using Lovecraft's characters and vice versa. And lizard people did play a part in some of their stories, like some stories about how this adventurer would have memories of an ancient lizard race living underground, and then they'd go in this cavern and they'd find them there. So it does tie in with that stuff. Lovecraft did write about some of this shit.
But they were more referring to the weird conspiracy theories about how the lizard people are like have infiltrated us and are like
right. And at the time, like when I wrote my review on your website, when you did that, I mentioned some things I didn't want to get into on your site because they were political. But that is one of the reasons I didn't like that movie, because I know about the production company that made Castle Freak and what their agenda is, what they said their agenda is. And that being in there, I thought was playing back to that a little bit. I won't get into that here, but that was purposely put in there, I think, for a certain reason.
I don't know anything about the production company other than Barbara Crampton was involved in producing it.
Well, they also, I don't put Barbara Crampton with them. I mean, she's separate. But the production company also produced a movie called Dragged Across Concrete with Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. Yeah. Which is one of the most racist movies I've seen recently. I hated that movie.
I haven't seen it, but I loved his other two movies.
Brawl in Cell Block 99 wasn't bad, and Bone Tomahawk wasn't bad, but the same guy made Dragged Across Concrete, which I thought was just fucking horrible. And then I read what their mission statement was from the get-go, and I'm like, okay, that's why they put that in.
Oh shit, Ben Grimm saying Barbara Crampton, it's been confirmed she is a lizard person, so
that's why she doesn't age. That's why. We figured it out. We've solved history.
Yeah, S. Craig Zollers made Bone Tomahawk, Brawl in Cell Block 99, and Dragged Across Concrete. I don't know. Maybe I read Dragged Across Concrete wrong. I mean, with Mel Gibson's history, and I know Vince Vaughn's become more right wing, but And Michael J. White is in the movie. I mean, obviously, Michael J. White, I don't believe is racist, but I just think that movie was just fucked up.
I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it, but I loved Bone Tomahawk. I really liked Brawl in Cell Block 99 as well.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, maybe you'll come to a different conclusion, but I don't know.
I need to check out the Night of the Demons remake because I love the original, and I've heard that the remake isn't bad.
Is that the one with Edward Furlong?
Have you heard that? Have you heard that, Martin?
I've heard very mixed things. Let's just say
I didn't like it at all. I've heard people give it like a big positive. I thought it kind of was a big disappointment when I saw it.
Yeah,
personally.
Any fans of Ravenous?
Yeah, I like that one with Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since the 90s, though. It's been a long time.
Guy Pearce from The Crow? Or no, that wasn't Guy Pearce, was it? That was somebody else.
He's been in all sorts of shit, man.
Yeah.
He was Memento. And he was in The Time Machine. He was in The Proposition.
I like the Time Machine remake.
Yeah.
He was the Wayland in Prometheus.
Yeah.
In makeup.
Heavy makeup.
I really like Prometheus.
Yeah, I did too.
A lot of people absolutely hate that movie. I didn't have a big
I
problem with
why.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was beautifully made. I guess as an alien movie in that franchise, maybe it's not the greatest, but I liked it.
I like it as an alien movie and also as its own thing. I think it works both ways.
That was for Rick, by the way.
I didn't love Prometheus at first just because I had unrealistic expectations, but I love it now. I think what they were trying to do, I think, was very successful. I even love Alien Covenant.
Yeah, I like Covenant.
And I wish Ridley Scott would be able to continue that, but with Disney buying Fox now, I think Disney wants to go a different route.
I like Alien Resurrection, personally.
I do too.
Yeah. That one gets a lot of shit, and I think that one's awesome.
And you're fans of Alien 3?
Not as awesome.
Alien 3 would still be great.
Is that 3?
3 is that prison planet with the puppy.
Where they shave their heads.
They shave their
Remember
heads.
about it, right? We've seen that one.
No, that's Resurrection. That one's great.
Resurrection.
Yeah.
Alien 3 would still be great, but the CGI has aged so poorly that it just takes you out of the movie immediately.
There is a much extended version that is a great improvement over the theatrical version, but it's still not great.
Still really bad CGI.
The CGI is flawless in that one. No, I'm just kidding. They should George Lucas the shit out of that.
Wild Will knows what's up. The Anunnaki. I bet Wild Will has read this book, The Gods of Eden by William Branley. Let's see if he's familiar with that.
A few good kind of UFO-y documentaries. There's The Silent Revolution of Truth, which is amazing. It's free on YouTube. The Silent Revolution of Truth.
Have to check that out.
And then the Montauk Chronicles is fantastic.
Montauk is some freaky shit.
Yeah.
This is a good one. The Secret History.
Secret History, yeah, I've watched that.
This is a good one hosted by Roger Moore.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that. I'd remember Roger Moore.
Dreamland was a good one.
Dreamland, yeah.
This was a good one. This is one of my favorites.
UFOs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Secrets of the Black World. When I watch these documentaries, the older school, the better for me. When it goes back to these guys who are all dead now, who were around originally when the shit went down, because that's the testimony that I find really compelling.
Another great documentary I have to mention that I find fantastic is called Nightmares, and it's on shadow people and dream paralysis, and it's fantastic.
There's a great movie called Shadow People with, I think, Allison Eastwood is in it. It's a really cool movie, and it's got a documentary on there with a guy telling his story about seeing shadow people in some cave that he was touring in Europe, and it's pretty compelling shit. That Unsolved Mysteries about the ghosts has a lot of stuff about shadow people. That's an interesting phenomenon.
What about the Mothman? That's another one that's...
The
Richard Gere movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
The book... The book is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The book gets into shit that the movie doesn't even get into. But yeah, Paul, the MJ-12 stuff, yeah, I'm familiar with all that. Stanton Friedman. Yeah, Stanton Friedman's the one who broke Roswell back in the day by interviewing Jesse Marcel Sr.
Guys, I can go for about another 15 minutes, but then I gotta wrap it up. I got
I was
early
just
morning
about
meeting.
to say midnight's my cutoff time.
Yeah, I'm 11:50 is my cutoff as well, so that'll work out perfectly.
Well, it's been great steering with you guys.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I hope I didn't commandeer it with UFO bullshit.
I don't think so.
I loved it.
This is fun. Yeah, I mean, it's good talking about this kind of stuff. I mean, everyone's participating in the chat. Everyone's, carrying on.
It was a good live stream.
We've got some amazing people in the chat this time.
Congrats, David. Thanks for hosting. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wild Will from Chesterfield's talking about Native Americans. Have you ever read the A Separate Reality by Carlos Castaneda and the series of books he did with Don Juan? They got into this stuff a little bit with that old TV show Lost, which I was a big fan of, and that's what put me onto those books in the first place. But yeah, that gets into Native Americans, both in North and South America, and some of their knowledge about stuff.
Yeah, hey, I would like to thank anyone who's come over from my channel, like Will, you're awesome. Really, thanks for coming and supporting David's channel. You guys rock.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for inviting me, David. I'm somebody that leeches off other streams. I don't put out my own content, so you.
I just want you to get out there and start making content, and I'm sure you'll get a lot of subscribers because you have a lot of interesting thoughts and your own takes on things. So, I mean, on day one when you publish your first video, I'm sure you're going to be off and hitting the ground running.
Yeah,
I agree. You should make some videos.
And I want to give you a big shout out, Old School, because like you're always supportive of me whenever I go live or drop a video. You're always there in the chat, so it's nice to put a face to the name for sure.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed your live streams.
Hey, don't ever be sorry.
And that's why I invited
replay.
Calvin too, because he deserves more subscribers as well. I mean, he's I think like at 58, but he puts out good content. And he's always very supportive of everyone else's channels and participates in live streams and all that stuff as well, and chats. So
absolutely.
And then I just had never got to do anything with Martin before, so I was looking forward to getting to meet him face to face, and it's been fun.
A good time. We need to meet up in person sometime. We live so close by.
Yeah, I'm just maybe an hour and 15 minutes away.
By the way, Martin, congratulations on 400 subscribers, dude.
Thank you. I
awesome.
put up my contest.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was good chatting with you, Martin. You're awesome too. You have a great channel and stuff. And it's funny because we're both in that Werewolf Den group.
Yeah.
And so I see you comment all the time, and I know I'm not very active in there. I kind of leech and just kind of am in the background, and every now and then I'll post something. But
you jump in. You check out new people whenever they jump in here.
And you both sound so much alike. It was
I have to like really strain to see whose mouth is moving.
I'm talking to my reflection.
Holy shit! I just realized Paul Phoenix. What is it like 4 or 5 a.m. there where you're at?
Yeah,
it's almost
Paul's in the UK.
Yeah,
he's keeping my hours. That's what time I go to bed.
I just reset my schedule. I woke up today at 8:30 a.m. I was so proud of myself.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a blast.
Absolutely.
I don't want to encroach on anybody else's weekly streams, but I mean, this might be something we could do maybe once a month or whatever. This was a lot of fun.
I'd love to.
And I'll always be the mystery guest.
We'll be the running gag. Who's the mystery guest?
You're the center square.
I'll change my label to mystery guest. So.
Exactly.
It'll just be a row of question marks.
Mystery guest, creepy videos.
All right, guys. Well,
thank you guys so much. Thank you, everybody in chat.
Yeah, thanks everybody in the chat for the support. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely.
Be sure to check us out Saturday on Coast to Coast. And Phil, are you doing another live stream?
You can catch me Friday night on, hey, isn't that Devon Graham's channel? I'm on the Firefly Family podcast Friday night. We'll be doing a live commentary watching Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, should be a good night.
Okay.
I am interested to hear your thoughts on that movie because that's a polarizing movie that I absolutely love.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in years, so it'll be really nice Friday night to revisit it and see my views.
All right.
And Martin, are you doing something next week with Ben? Or another?
Oh, yeah.
We should be doing a watch along with, I think it's Dracula Prince of Darkness on the Genome Presents channel, and it'll be us two and Jay and who else? Maybe Hobbs.
Yeah, maybe Hobbs.
All right.
Very cool.
I love all you guys.
Derek, will we be on Hobbs' channel this weekend on Sunday?
As far as I know. Yep.
All right. Well, everyone's got more chances to see everybody else. So
and please do check out my my 400 subscriber contest because I'm giving away some nice stuff and I want people to.
Oh, congratulations, man!
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, guys. Well, take care, and we'll see each other soon.
All right, everybody. Take care.
Bye.